Hello, everybody, and welcome to a new episode of Faro Films. We're the Faro Films gang, and we have a guest.
It's Tom.
Hello.
Yay.
Tom.
Tom.
We have a
Tom.
new nationality to add to the
British.
the roster, and that's British.
Yeah, from my perspective, more funny accents.
A Brit, an Australian, an American, and South African.
What a pairing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
There's no
that's-
punchline.
Surprised no one has made a joke about that yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no punchline to that joke. It's just that. It's just the setup. Yeah.
Well, we're far off.
Should we
films
introduce
for a
ourselves
reason.
first? Or did we introduce ourselves? Or
I mean, they know us by now. We're the
yeah, they know
Films
us by
gang.
now. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, we're the gang.
We're the gang, and then
Yes.
also Tom's here.
Hello.
Yeah. So introduce yourself. Who are you?
Yeah.
I'm Tom. I'm actually kind of the reason that Far Off exists. In a
That's
roundabout
true.
way.
Yeah, that's fair.
In
yeah,
a
that is true,
retrospective,
yeah.
that is true. Yeah.
Yeah. I started.
If you want to be meta about it, yeah.
Yeah. started a film club, and these all attendees that didn't even know each other before I came into the fray. I'm not a YouTuber. I just know the gang. And
You play Fall
that's
Guys
it.
with me.
And we play Fall Guys together really badly. Yeah.
Yeah, you threatened to ban each of us at least once at some point, so.
Nah, I don't think
Yeah.
I've been threatened. I don't think. Actually, no, I
Ah,
have.
yeah,
the other day. The other day, I
Yeah.
was threatened.
Yeah, so, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Tom's
Yeah, so,
our
That's it.
Tom's our Batman. Or whoever assembles the
Batman?
Justice League.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, I didn't follow you, but yeah, that made sense, yeah. Yeah. So, Tom's here because of nepotism, I guess.
Yes.
And I couldn't have it the other way. Anything else you want to tell about yourself, or we can
No.
just get straight into the weight?
No,
of
this
things?
is
Okay,
this is just more of an
just
experiment than
vibes.
anything else.
It's
to
just
be honest. Yeah, I don't
It's
really
just vibes.
engage in any
It's
way.
about the vibe, as Dennis from the castle would say.
It's there are these things called vibes, and that's what this is about. Yeah.
Okay, well, yeah, I guess Jules, go.
Yeah, what
Go.
crazy shit has happened this
Okay,
time?
so this is something I found out. Is that there's a Parasite series being developed.
Oh.
I only found this out because Tilda Swinton left it. I want you guys to guess who is developing this series.
Adam McKay?
It's not
I
Bond
already
from
know.
her.
I already know about this beforehand.
Oh.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
fucking
Wow, you
It's
could
wow.
Adam McKay.
Let us guess.
Oh, I thought this was like common knowledge. I'm sorry. Yeah.
No, I didn't even
I
know
knew
about
the
this.
series was being produced. I had no clue Tilda Swinton or Adam McKay or anyone.
I
was
think
even
Mark
involved with
Ruffalo
it,
is
so-
involved in this too, right?
Mark Ruffalo
God.
plays the titular Parasite.
That would be crazy. Yeah. I think they should just fill
Yeah.
this a Parasite show with like all Avengers cast members or whatever. So like the rich families
Yeah.
like will be played by like Robert Downey Jr. or some shit like that. Like that would be
then
awesome.
And then it could be a metaphor of why the Avengers films are parasites. in
Exactly.
the
Yeah.
grand
It'll
be
scheme
super meta.
of movies.
Yeah. Well,
That'd be like Adam McKay to do something like that.
Well,
no, Adam McKay
Tilda
will do
Swinton-
some bullshit where it's like they'll just talk about Sex Panthers or some shit, or do some unfunny
Yeah.
shit. Yeah.
And then it'll be a metaphor
There's-
about society.
There's an instinct to just make it's like people won't watch movies if they're not in English, even though Parasite was like beyond successful. Like, why are they doing it again with just white
Because
guys,
reading
you know?
subtitles is for fucking nerds and weebs. No one wants to watch that shit. They
It's
want to
too
see
hard to
people.
read.
Yeah, watch people speak in normal languages.
Yeah, they
And also Hollywood
needed
want to
more.
make money, and
Yeah.
they saw something that was successful.
Yeah,
somewhere
I guess
else.
money too.
So that's
yeah.
why we got an old boy. That's why we got an old boy remake.
Yeah, and that worked out great, yeah.
that notoriously made an incredible amount of money.
And let's not forget Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Classic.
That classic
Masterpieces only. Well, I watched the Ring make as well. Like I watched Ringu and then The Ring, and they were like 2 years apart, and they're exactly the same fucking movie. It's like, what is the point of any of this. But it's been going on for fucking ages. They've always been doing this. Where they just,
well, the difference is one speaks in that freaky deaky alien language that we like to call anime. Japanese, and the other one is normal. They speak a white people language. So yeah.
Maybe it's just so they can look at their phones while they're watching it. Maybe that's the vibe now. Needs to be phone
there needs
friendly.
to be something phone friendly for the Western audiences.
Playing Candy Crush.
Luca, you were gonna say something before we all just interrupted you like 600 times.
I was gonna say something, but then when I thought about it, I thought maybe what I was gonna say was a bit dumb. But like, I know you guys said that people don't want to read, which is whatever, fucking stupid. But like, they're just. Obviously, they're taking these remakes because they're the most successful, versions of, these foreign films. But, I think it would be easier or better to remake, some fucking random Korean movie that no one's ever heard about.
Nah, but that doesn't bring in money.
I know, that's why, but, it's just these Old Boy and Parasite are already such accessible films. Even if you don't watch foreign films, you can show someone Parasite and they'll probably have a blast watching it. But it makes total sense why they're doing it. It is just fucking lame and insensitive.
Yeah, it's bullshit. And the worst of it is that it's led by Adam McKay, which for anyone who watches my videos knows that I fucking hate this guy.
Genius decided to appoint him.
What fucking genius appoints him for a lot of things? He was he's an executive producer on Succession and the creator. What was that show called? Winning Time or something? The HBO Max basketball show or whatever. It's who the fuck keeps putting Adam McKay in all this shit? It's who the fuck watched Anchorman and thought to themselves, oh hell yeah, this is the guy who's gonna make the Parasite remake on HBO. Fuck off.
Story development on Get Hard, that classic.
Oh, that classic movie. Yeah. Starring not homophobic actor Kevin Hart.
I was just going to say that there's a sort of tier of foreign movies that are so well known that anybody will watch them. Parasite is one of those things that people went to because it if you win Best Picture, whatever, people will go and see it and they'll put it in cinemas or whatever.
Yeah.
Or Amelie, or the French rom-com. People love that, and that's in French language.
Yeah, or The Artist. That's also for French nerds.
And what's it?
Isn't that silent?
Yeah, but you can tell those motherfuckers.
You can tell it's French. Yeah. So it's a weird instinct to remake something that's already sort of universally popular. I'm pretty sure Old Boy made the Spike Lee one made no money whatsoever.
And why is it just distinctly these these Asian films that are being remade? Because you could remake The Artist if you really fucking wanted to, but no one's doing that shit. You could really remake Emily if you really wanted to, but no one's doing that shit.
Yeah, I don't think we got an Emily remake, even though it was ripe for it.
When I think French remakes, the only thing that comes to my mind is what was that film called? The Untouchables or whatever, the one with the guy in the wheelchair or something. That's about it, right?
What about Martyrs? That was a French film, right?
Yeah.
Isn't The Untouchables a Western? Or am I losing my mind?
No, that's a crime. I swear there was a French film called The Untouchables about a wheelchair and a black guy or something like that. Am I just crazy?
And literally no idea. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Coda, the one Best Picture last year. That was a remake of a Swedish film that got no buzz, and then there was an American version of it, and all of a sudden it won Best Picture.
Yeah, they do this all the time, they didn't have to make a remake of Infernal Affairs, but they did it. They just knocked on Scorsese's door and said, hey, yo, can you make this? And he's like, fuck it, I got time, whatever, so...
Yeah.
Yeah. Not to say The Departed isn't a good movie or anything, it's a good movie, but, still.
There's a lot of people that didisagree with that as well. I think
really? I liked The Departed a lot.
Generally think it's kind of trash. I think it's... I was speaking to someone about it, and he said the worst part about that movie is the way that everybody dresses.
What's wrong with that?
I can't really disagree with that.
Do they have something against people from Boston?
I think it was just like looking at Leonardo DiCaprio in a pair of like baggy jeans and trainers.
Yeah, you can tell this
ignites
kid is
something.
clearly from a line of privileged. He's never. Yeah.
If you see
He's
somebody who
from the
looks
hood.
uncomfortable in jeans and trainers, then you're definitely sort of. I think you've got the wrong guy in to do Greek crime drama.
That's why he was more appropriate for The Wolf of Wall Street. It's like, this is Leonardo DiCaprio.
He can wear
Yeah,
a suit.
this is his lifestyle.
Yeah. So, anyway, do we have anything we're dying to say? I mean, I'm glad
Oh, yeah,
Tilda's
I got
gone,
one.
but, you know,
I have
Tilda-
something to say.
sure.
Oh, yeah.
Slay Tilda Swinton for leaving. Like, she's like a Bong Joon-ho,
Yeah.
like, regular, so
Mm.
I'm glad she was like, okay, I can't be a part of this because I can't, like, this is just lame. And that's it.
By Bong
Yeah.
Joon-ho regular, you mean just regular in all of his English-speaking movies, right?
Yeah. She
Yeah,
was in
but I mean,
Snowpiercer
she's
and
still been in a
Okja,
lot of them. Like,
Yeah, I know. I'm just messing with you. Yeah, so.
Yeah.
She was delightful in Snowpiercer.
And like you
I like
say
her in,
English speaking,
Okja.
but like people always say that Okja is like an English movie, but I swear there's only like English in that movie for like 2 scenes, and the rest is just in Korean.
The
so
only
I don't know
parts
why
of
people
the
this-
say
movie
it.
in that film are English, or just the people who can't speak Korean. So just like
Yeah.
Tilda Swinton, Paul Dano,
Yeah.
Jake Gyllenhaal. Yeah, so just
Jake
any scene with
Gyllenhaal.
Lily
them.
Collins.
Yeah, I'd say that's like a
Giancarlo.
multicultural kind of movie.
I gotta rewatch
Yeah.
Okja.
I
I didn't
remember
like.
Giancarlo was in that. Was in Okja.
Who was?
Giancarlo Esposito.
Really? I did not. I don't remember that at all.
Yeah,
For
I
a bit.
forgot that.
For a bit.
It's
Yeah.
been
not
like
long.
It's been like years since I've seen Okja. I think
Yeah.
that might be my least favorite film
It's
from
great.
him.
I-
But I
I am a staunch defender of his.
I remember
English
liking
stuff.
Snowpiercer a lot more than Okja, even though I gave both
I
of them
like
the same
I
score.
like them both.
So.
I like
yeah.
them both quite a lot. I prefer Snowpiercer.
I
It's
forgot
like-
that
no, yeah.
you're one of the few insane people that don't like Parasite and like Okja.
I
somehow
don't
more
dislike
than
Parasite.
Yeah.
I don't. I think Okja and Parasite are sort of. I consider them to be on similar levels. I prefer Snowpiercer to Parasite though. I just didn't find Parasite.
Tom
That-
doesn't like reading subtitles.
I love reading subtitles. I think Memories of Murder is my favorite of his movies.
Fucking awesome.
Yeah,
to be
I
honest.
agree. Memories of Murder is also my favorite from Bong Joon-ho.
But yeah, I just
Wow.
really I love Snowpiercer. And
Yeah.
I thought Parasite. It wasn't because I saw it before. It even
I really
won
like
the-
Mother. I watched that just.
Mother's
yesterday.
also
I-
great. That's my
I've-
second favorite
I
from
have not
him.
seen
Yeah.
it. Not seen that
Oh,
one yet.
that
That's the
actually,
only one I haven't seen.
Didn't
third
like the
one.
host though. Didn't like the host.
The
I
ho-
love the host.
the host
I
is
love the
I
host.
didn't get it. I
the
didn't
host
get
and
it.
Barking Dogs Never Bite. His first film. Those are the only two I haven't seen from him. The rest I've seen from him. So.
Oh, I forgot about.
Oh no,
that.
the host is probably like one of my favorite monster movies. Honestly.
Really? Well,
Yeah.
one of us has got to recommend it at some point. That's the
The
only one I
acclaim
haven't
for
seen.
it
Yeah.
it's universal. And when I was watching it, I was like, am I meant to be enjoying this? I was bored. I was genuinely bored when I was watching the host, which is crazy
Wow.
because that's exactly it's
You know
exactly
that?
my kind of shit.
I bet you're the
just,
type of person that unironically loves the Roland Emmerich Godzilla movie.
Which one's that one? Is that
the one with
The one from
Ferris
1998.
Bueller. The one with Ferris Bueller. Yeah.
Ferris Bueller? I used to have that on DVD, but I can't remember ever enjoying it. Isn't that like fucking way too long as well?
Yeah, it's
God,
ridiculously
yeah, it's
long.
like two and a half.
The best
hours.
thing about
Yeah,
the best
no,
thing
I
about the
can't
Roland
read it.
Emmerich Godzilla movie is that Japan bought the rights to that Godzilla just so they can have their Godzilla kick its ass. Like that's the only good thing that came from it. Yeah. So
I don't think I really like monster movies that much, to be honest.
I just like specific types of monster movies. Like they have to be done right. Like I consider Jaws a monster movie, and I think that's a great film. So yeah.
Yeah, but that's a great film because it's a great film, not because it's like you know.
I
like
guess
a monster
so.
movie.
Godzilla's
Yeah.
hard to do right.
Though
Yeah,
I,
I mean-
I rate Jackson's King Kong as well, though.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I enjoy. I saw the original King Kong
I've got
a
a few
long time
problems
ago,
with
and
it,
I
but
really
yeah,
loved
but
it.
it's-
Yeah. The Jackson King Kong's just way too fucking long. I don't know. We'll talk about all this stuff like
Yeah, he said
Anyway,
he
yeah.
said he always wanted
Yeah,
to
anyway,
recut that
anyway.
movie.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Second thing is that Tom, I know this might come as a shock to you because it's about a personal hero of you, British comedian James Corden.
Oh,
Is,
I know exactly where
It
this is
turns
going.
out he's actually an asshole.
We knew
Who
this.
could have guessed
No
that a celebrity
way.
would be an actual piece
I
of
saw.
shit
Yeah,
in
he's
the
banned
real
from a
world.
restaurant, wasn't he?
Yeah, he
He got
he
banned
was
from like the most prestigious restaurant in New York or something.
he was screaming at like one of the waiters for like not getting his wife's order specifically right or something like that. I didn't like look this up that deeply, but something along those
Somebody-
lines, right?
Somebody
I've
married
got the
that?
quotes right here.
Go on.
Okay, please share.
Okay, this is from him. Get us another round of drinks this second, and also take care of all our drinks so far. This way, I write any nasty reviews in Yelp or something like
On
that.
Yelp.
Yelp. Active Yelp
And the
user,
second
James
quote.
Corden.
Yeah.
The second quote: "You can't do your job. You can't do your job. I should go into the kitchen and cook the omelette myself."
God, what a dick.
Who goes to a fancy restaurant for an omelette either? It takes like 2 minutes to make one at home. Just make yourself an omelette.
I don't even like eggs,
fuck.
and that sounds like a waste of money. Yeah.
I
Same.
don't eat eggs, but you know, I know from experience that it takes like 45 seconds to make.
Like
an
if you're
omelette.
going to a super nice restaurant, like I don't know, get some steak or something. I know it's breakfast,
Yeah,
but still, like
Yeah.
steak and eggs.
Get some
yeah.
like,
It's like going to a-
salmon mousse. You know, get something that's gelled.
Get
you
some
know,
fucking-
get fancy with it. Yeah.
Like, what are those snail things that the French eat? Fucking
Snails.
Escargot.
escargot. Yeah, order that
Snails.
shit. Yeah, so yeah, order some fucking foie gras or yeah.
Yeah. It's like going to like a fancy restaurant. for,
That's like the
an
equivalent
egg
of
salad
like
sandwich or-
Speaking of Parasite, like ordering an omelet at a place like that is the equivalent of putting like Wagyu steak in like a cheap ramen. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Yeah. So, yeah.
Going to like a fancy restaurant or just ordering like a crumpet.
So Tom, as a Brit bong, can you explain to me what the fuck the appeal of James Corden is? Because he is everywhere in America. Like, you guys just dumped him in America, and I don't understand what we're supposed to do with him. So
I think
Can
you're
you-
asking the wrong. I think you should look in a mirror and reflect, because we sent him out. We didn't. He was here for like a while. He was in like an episode of Doctor Who, and he was in like one admittedly decent TV show called. The
And
Wrong
didn't he
Man's.
like talk shit about Patrick Stewart or something like that? Like he and Patrick
there was
Stewart.
an
are-
award
Yes,
show.
they argued on camera.
on stage
Talked
at
over
an
a
award
clip.
show. I think it was.
Yeah.
And Patrick Stewart was like, he was beefing with him on stage because he was, you know, saying that James Corden like wasn't paying attention and that he looked like he didn't want to be there or whatever. People.
And then
I think-
the other guy does the is giving like another award and you can see them like still beefing in the background.
but like trying to be polite. It's, you know, it's on YouTube. Watch
Yeah.
a clip. It's very embarrassing.
Yeah,
It's
so
very
like,
funny.
what is the appeal of James Corden? Like, I need you to
Ask
just
yourself. Ask yourself. 'Cause
We
he's in
didn't want him.
America.
You guys just dumped him on here. It's
Oh,
not
you
like
do want him.
It's
You
not like
do
the
want him.
Beatles, where it's like when you guys dumped the Beatles on us, we like gladly ate that shit up. Like, this is like the opposite of the Beatles. This is not that
Just
at all.
check the viewing figures for his talk show over there, because his appeal in the carpool karaoke.
That doesn't mean anything. Fucking Jimmy Fallon has like fucking like millions
Yeah,
of views. That
I
doesn't
know.
mean anything. Yeah.
It's because
I mean,
he
it
knew
clearly
that he
does
was
mean something.
gonna do something over there, because America has a penchant for talk show hosts with like no personality whatsoever, who laugh like and have, you know, nothing to say ever.
I mean, you
And he
claim
was
that
like,
you don't
this is the
want
market.
him.
This
You
is the
claim that you-
market.
You claim that you don't want him, but he's still in all your movies, like Cats and Peter Rabbit and all this shit. Like, what do you have to say to that?
I'm just gonna Google real quick whether they're American productions or not, because hang on.
He was in that Danny Boyle Beatles romance thing. What the fuck was it called? Yesterday?
Cats
Yeah.
was a
Yeah.
Cats was a British American production, so you share responsibility for that, I'm afraid.
Yeah, my bad. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yesterday we do have to take a bit of responsibility for that, but you
And
know.
He was
Peter
in the
Rabbit.
Emoji Movie, for God's sake.
Oh yeah, wait, but that's an American movie, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, we take responsibility for that. But like, I don't know. Like,
Oh, Jules, I've got you. Fucking got you. Peter Rabbit is an Australian and American and British.
Fuck!
So we're all fucking
Australian.
responsible for this, man. Thank
What
you
do we
very
have to
much.
do with that?
We're all fucked with that.
South Africa has proven itself to be one of the best places yet
Oh my
again.
god,
Because this had nothing to do with James
he was
Corden.
in Norm of the North?
Is Norma the North
know that.
Australian?
I'll fact check this right now. Norm of the North.
I didn't even know he was in Norma the North.
The only true blue British movie that I remember him being in was Lesbian Vampire Killers, which was a
sounds-
movie about killing vampire lesbians.
I assumed that's what the movie was about.
Oh, I thought it was like lesbian vampire comma killers.
I thought it was a
you know?
metaphor for being a lesbian in the UK.
No, if it was a movie about lesbians killing vampires, it would have gone down a lot better than.
Yeah, that's
this,
what I hope.
unfortunately. yeah, no, it's James Corden and Matthew Horn killing lesbian
Killian?
vampires. Unfortunately,
Killian Murphy?
Unfortunately, Killian Murphy. He wasn't
Yeah.
actually.
Cillian Murphy.
Yeah, how does it feel to get fucked by the fact that Jules? How does it feel to get fucked by the fact that James Corden is involved in your thing
Listen,
too?
He has nothing to do with us. He has
You're,
nothing
par-
to do
you're,
with us.
you're partially
We've
responsible
got our own
for it
batch
as well.
of like unfunny talk show hosts.
We are all James Corden.
Except me.
Remember when James Corden
Luca.
he was promoting that Cinderella movie because he stopped traffic with a bunch of celebrities to do like an interpretive dance, and he was in like a rat costume, and like he thrust
Oh
his
shit!
dick
Yeah,
towards
yeah,
like
yeah,
one
yeah.
of the drivers.
I remember this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was.
Thrusting James Corden. And the
I
thing is,
think
it also had some.
The rat thrust.
Yeah.
I think I only saw the Amazon Cinderella movie because I kept hearing shit about that, and yeah, it was fucking awful. It was like probably
I
the
never
worst
even
film
saw it.
that year. Yeah.
Well,
But
he
they
was a
actually-
producer on that as well, I think.
They got some real, like, actual, genuine, great British comedians in as well, and then also James Corden.
James
So-
Corden is also in that one too. Yeah.
Yeah, but James
Yeah.
James Acaster is in it. Ramesh Ranganathan is in it. Rob Beckett's in it. These are like sort of top tier, actually funny British comedians, and then they're side by side with fucking James Corden. So I feel sorry for him.
Yeah,
be
I
honest.
just
Yeah.
I just imagine that we remake every British movie and replace them with James Corden. Like, I imagine, like, what if, like, in Shaun of the Dead, what if Shaun was replaced by Simon Pegg was replaced by James Corden? What would that look like?
What? So they're all like that
Train
sequence
spotting
of being
replaced with
John
James
Malkovich.
Corden.
Yeah, he's just turning corners and everyone's fucking James Corden. Remake being John Malkovich.
Being
with
James Corden.
Being James Corden. Yeah.
Charlie Kaufman needs to get on that shit
Yeah,
right now.
Spike Jones, get on that shit right
Yeah.
now. Well,
Spike
speaking
Jones
of
is too busy making fucking Beastie Boys documentaries.
Speaking of spiky
speaking
things,
of being in hell,
Yes.
we saw Hellraiser.
Hellraiser.
Yeah, we saw Hellraiser.
2022.
2022, but also the original, because I noticed, Jules, you saw the original Hellraiser, so we can, but like that's not like the main
Yeah,
focus.
I've never seen it.
Oh, you didn't see? I swear someone saw the original Hellraiser.
No, I said I'd never seen it before. The original.
Oh, they never seen it before.
I have seen the original as well, and
Okay.
also Hellraiser.
Hellseeker.
7?
Yeah.
It's number 7, I
And
think.
also Hellraiser.
I don't remember.
Hellworld.
Yeah, you've seen. So Tom, you've seen the 7th one with me, and yeah, Jules, you've
Yep.
seen the 8th one with me. I've seen all of them because apparently I fucking hate myself. So yeah. 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 What did you guys think about? Well, I guess briefly. I guess I don't know. Well, I was gonna say briefly explain your feelings about the original Hellraiser, but then I remembered Luca didn't see the original Hellraiser.
So it's just me and you who've seen the original. I mean,
And
it's
Jules.
And me.
and
I mean,
okay,
yeah, you guys can talk about it, but like, be brief, because like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
as for me, I think the
It's-
original Hellraiser is like a decent, above-average horror movie. Like, I don't know. I was expecting a lot more the first time I came around to it, because I don't know. Everyone was like claiming it's like a classic or something, but I don't know. It was like above average. It was like it had some like interesting things going on. There was a lot of great special effects that still hold up today. Like when I think of Hellraiser, like ironically, I'm not thinking of like the Cenobites. I'm thinking about that scene where the dad like spoilers, I guess, for Hellraiser, the original, but Luca, you shouldn't care. It's not worth your time. Like when the dad like drips blood on the floor and the floor like fucking like forms like the Gollum motherfucker, like, you know, decrepit looking like version of like the Italian stallion uncle or whatever. Like that, I remember that more than anything from the original Hellraiser. Like a lot of the special effects like look great, and then the Cenobites themselves, like they are like an intimidating force that are just never the same after the first Hellraiser. Like, you know, they have a lot of great lines where it's like, oh, no tears, that's a waste of good suffering. It's like, man, you used to be cool. Like, what the hell happened to you after that, you know? So, but yeah, it's like, the acting kind of sucks, if I'm being honest. The movie's kind of boring, but, you know, it's an above average horror movie that was pretty decent. So, I don't know, what do you guys think about the original Hellraiser?
I appreciate it more in concept than I do in execution. I
think that's the best way to sum it
appreciate
up. Yeah.
Yeah, Clive Barker, I think being able to adapt your own material is very much admirable, because you know that whatever is made is going to be sort of the original intention. I've been looking to read the original novel that it was, or novella that it was based on, The Hellbound Heart, but I haven't been able to find it anywhere. But I appreciate that it was his.
That's
his
a cool
version.
title.
It is a cool. It's a cool title. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why he named
it
the
was
sequel.
His version
that.
of it. Yeah, Hellbound. Yeah.
Hellbound.
And I like how horny it is. I like that it's sort of. It's unapologetically horny in a way that I don't.
Very
think
horny.
The rest of them that I've seen are able to do. Even the new one, I think.
Yeah, the Cenobites are literally
Um,
BDSM artists.
Exactly. That's the point. I like the cosmic nature of the horror, and I like how the first one operates like kind of like a really nasty fairy tale. It's like
Almost,
a
yeah,
moral
kinda, yeah.
quandary. You know, it's somebody getting their just desserts for, you know, trying to be an absolute freak.
Yeah, and we're
Trying to
introduced
be-
to the
yeah,
iconic Cenobites. Like, we're introduced to Pinhead and Mouth Herpes and Choking Hazard and Nikocado Avocado. It's like, great, yeah.
Yeah, I think it kind of works as a grim fairy tale in a way that I think the rest of them kind of forgot about, you know, because they're kind of unknowable and weird and
Yeah, I think part of what makes the Cenobites so scary, it's that they're like fuck all with like human morality, and like they're like, look, we just care about this freaky shit, and like because that gets us off and stuff like that. Like that's what I found
Yeah.
appealing about the Cenobites. So
I don't really know much about the Cenobites, but they've always intrigued me. Like I don't know if any of you guys have played Dead by Daylight, but
certainly have.
like the Cenobite is like genuinely one of like the scariest like people to face up against whilst playing Dead by Daylight. Like a lot of the villains in that game, like you get used to them and you get used to like their moves and like they aren't that scary. But like whenever I played against the Cenobite, I was like genuinely creeped out. I was like, holy fuck. Like yeah, and I think they have like a cool aesthetic. Like I like the chains and shit like that, and yeah, cool dudes.
Yeah.
Or
Jules.
dudettes, because the new one,
Yes.
Yes.
Ladies
Well,
and boys.
let's get
Female.
the new
let's
one
get
trans them up.
let's get Jules's thoughts about the original Hellraiser before we get into
Yeah.
that. Yeah, so yeah, Jules.
Yeah, it's fine. There's some pretty good cheesy special effects. The acting's kind of hilarious. You can tell kind of when they ran out of budget, and yeah, it's fine.
I thought
it
the
didn't really
main
connect with me.
girl in the original Hellraiser was the only actress that gave a good performance. Everyone else fucking sucked.
Oh yeah, the dad.
The dad was fucking awful. It's like, did you used to do porn or something? Like, is that why your acting's not great? Or yeah.
Yeah, it's something. It's an 80s horror movie. I don't think I'll ever watch it again.
Oh yeah, me neither. Yeah, but it did its job. But yeah, well, in spite of that, you know, the original and fuck, how many sequels are 9 sequels? That was it. Yeah. we got this remake from David Bruckner, and I don't know about you guys, but I thought it was really great. And I don't know if it's because it's an actual great movie or because my standard for Hellraiser movies are just so fucking low that I thought it was great. But I don't know. I thought it was great.
Just a
so.
smidge of quality, and you're like, oh my fucking god, it's incredible.
Greatest movie of all time.
Competency.
Yeah, when I
he's
noticed
the
that
best.
when I noticed that the direction isn't fucking incompetent, and then like the basic things like acting and writing and like decent special effects are on screen, I'm like, oh my god, this is cinema. This is pure magic. No. Anyway, what'd you guys think about Hellraiser, the new one?
It's good.
It's good.
Good.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
very mixed about it, to be honest.
Really?
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, it's
Yeah.
well made, and
I thought it was great. I really loved
I think
it.
I'm also like kind of mixed, but I thought it was solid. I thought it was.
as
Yeah.
a film, you know, it's
It is a film.
It's
That's-
solid. It's a film, and it's solid. It's well put together, and
Yeah,
I didn't
definitely.
have any quandaries with.
I don't know. There were a lot of things I really loved about.
performances and stuff I love about it as well. I just,
Yeah.
I think my issues are narrative. I think.
Same.
Oh, really?
Narrative and character for me, I
Okay.
think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The characters. I
Execution
not
was
a
fine.
fan of.
If it
Yeah,
if it was better
execution
written,
was great.
if it was better written, it could have been great.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought it
great.
was better. I mean, it's way better written than all these shitty Hellraiser movies. But it's like
It's not saying a lot, is it?
But,
I know
like,
that's not
in
saying
terms
much.
of a movie. Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
I can totally get why you think this is like amazing compared to watching like all the other ones.
Yeah, but like I don't know. Oh,
To me, this was just like a really solid version of like the typical kind of horror movie remakes you get nowadays. Like it did fall a lot into some of those like tropes that you see from like these remakes, and I guess like modern horror movies in general. But I still thought it was. I thought it had enough substance to be better than a lot of those like generic remakes and generic modern horror movies you see now.
Oh,
Because
yeah,
like
more than
you know
enough
when you
substance.
see like the characters like googling shit and like having to go to like the house where the thing is and they're like the special object and the characters that aren't really well developed, like this is something that you see like in a lot of modern horror movies, but like as you guys said, like the filmmaking aspects of it like just help
awesome.
elevate it like
easily
way
my
better.
favorite
Yeah.
part of the entire movie was when they had this like really fucking awesome transition where it's like we're gonna spoil the movie, by the way, spoilers. That scene where that one girl, like, she got stabbed in the back or something like that, and like she's in the van and they like transition, like they slowly transition from like when she's in the van into like this like dark dirty hallway with the Cenobites and like Pinhead, who by the way like is awesome. Like I love this new version of Pinhead. She was like saying
Slay
like
Queen.
yeah, like, and she was like, why do you seek salvation and blah 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 blah, and she's like, in heaven no one can hear you scream or something along the lines of that. And like the actual kill was like really like I
Very
was
goofy.
very uncomfortable, like when she like takes one of the pins out of her head, you know, and sticks it in her throat before like essentially
it through the
ripping the
throat.
spine out of her back. Like that was like awesome. Like that, the tension that was built from that, like, and like this the emotional like reaction that I got from that scene, like that was awesome. Like there were plenty of moments like that throughout the film that I just loved, you know. So, and I give a shit about the characters in this one, unlike in the previous Hellraiser movies where I could give a rat's fucking ass
Yeah.
about like any of the characters, like in Hellworld or some
know.
shit. Yeah, like I don't know.
I kind of found
They're not the
I found them a
most
little bit
interesting
annoying.
characters, but like, you know, like
Yeah.
they had enough going for them where it's like, okay, like this is interesting enough where it's like I could give a shit. Like I'm not like they're not characters where it's like just fucking kill them off already. Like I just want to see some cool kills. Like there were some interesting characters. Like I liked the main actress. I thought she was fucking great, you know? So
I feel like there was two interesting characters, and they kind of fucked one of them over. For me, my issue with the new Hellraiser is the core narrative. It's very tenuous and it just doesn't really hold any water. There's a scene about midway through where she explains why she's going through with it, and she's like, she was talking about the variations of the cube, and one of them was resurrection, and that's what
The
you
box,
can get
yeah.
out of
Yeah.
whatever, while still tacitly understanding that 3 more people are going to have to die to get there. So, and I know that it's quite clever the way that it avoids her direct responsibility for it. Like it's somebody else who stabbed somebody with a box, or it's an accident, or whatever. But
Yeah.
the core motivation for the narrative is that 5, or is it 5 or 6? 5 if people need to die before that they
A handful
they can
of people. Yeah.
and it's not even death. It's worse than that. It's torture forever. It's biblical.
Yeah.
It's and she
It is the extremest form of kinkiness. Yeah.
It's experience beyond human understanding. It's pain to ascend to a new sort of type of being, whatever. It's just pure pain forever, and while she isn't directly responsible in a way, she's indirectly responsible for the suffering of
I
some
don't
of the
know.
other
I thought it
characters,
was. I thought it was
Yeah.
kind of like she was clearly didn't want to like sacrifice more people, but like I thought it was more like the Cenobites like trying to like manipulate their way into like getting more bodies and stuff like that.
I
Like
think
There's a suspension of disbelief required to justify that, though, and she knew when she was like, if we get to the end, then potentially we can resurrect this brother who we've seen for like 5 minutes, and
yeah,
kinda
Justin
came
from
off like an
13
arsehole.
Reasons Why.
But it's like
yeah.
it's like whether she's responsible or not, she knows that if to proceed there's gonna need to be 3 more sacrifices, and that's that. I was like, really, and also
I do-
Luca.
Yeah, I do think that there was like one really interesting aspect about her character, and it was kind of like the addiction allegory, or like she was like an addict, and like
Yeah.
I guess you can kind of explain some of her motivations to keep this like deadly box that's clearly hurting people. It can kind of be seen as like an allegory of like, being addicted to drugs, even though it's like hurting you, you still have this sense to like grip onto it and like cling to it. And I did like that aspect to it, like in
Yeah, I thought that was
terms of
an
like
interesting
keeping
angle.
the box and like continuing to go through with like the things. But like, yeah, as like Tom said, as it like went into that aspect, like when she directly knows that more people are going to have to die in order to continue, it kind of fell off a bit for me. But I still think I think even though it the other characters didn't really have that much development, I think this aspect of it to introduce into like a film like this was a really nice touch. Because in like something like Truth or Dare, when there's like a similar plot, like there's this weird fucking game, and like the people need to go and finish this thing, and blah 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 blah. Like there's like nothing there with like any of the characters at all. But
Truth
I think
or Dare.
there's
Truth or
there's that small bit of substance in there which I did appreciate a bit.
Oh, I thought
And
there was a
that-
lot of
that
substance.
thinking
Yeah.
was ratified at the end as well.
Yeah.
Like when she was like, "I don't want anything from you," whatever.
Yeah.
She was like, "You've chosen the
Yeah.
lament configuration, whatever." Like it her arc.
You've chosen
is,
to suffer.
yeah, by itself is very effective as an
Yeah,
for
yeah,
fiction.
exactly.
I just think that it kind of flops when you take into account every like the rest of it. And I've got to say,
Yeah.
the,
I don't know,
the
I thought it
roommates and
was-
the boyfriend. God, they were awful.
They were like suitable, I'll let me before I say my thing. Jules, you've been kind of quiet. What are your thoughts on the new Hellraiser? Kind of give your thoughts and everything about all this stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of on the same page of it as the original Hellraiser. I think it's slightly better, but yeah, it was kind of wearisome narratively. I kind of found some of the characters annoying. I think the main actress, she was pretty good. Seemed like she actually gave a shit, and yeah, felt like it went on a bit too long for my taste.
Long.
any of you
That
guys-
that's fair.
gosh.
I think
Yeah.
it went on a little too
Yeah.
long. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It was
Over
a bit long.
2 hours. There's so
Yeah.
much fluff. A horror movie being over 2 hours isn't anything new, and but it didn't.
It better
the
be
length.
filled
Like,
with
there was a lot of
substance.
fluff.
Yeah. Yeah.
There was fluff in there. You could be like, there was a handful of a few scenes where I was watching this and I was like, what the fuck?
I don't know,
am
like,
doing here?
I- This is kind of interesting that you all are kind of in the same. But I don't know. Like I could feel the runtime for sure. Like it did not need to be 2 hours long, but I was never bored. Honestly, like I was very
I
engaged.
think you just
like,
watched too many fucking ass
maybe,
Hellraiser movies.
but the thing is though is that like with this movie it's like I because I picked up on like the addiction allegory like really well, like it was like kind of obvious to me as well, and like that made her character really interesting. It's like, oh, like that's why she's kind of like gripping to like the box sort of thing. But I think another like interesting like allegory you can take from it is that like when these people do like these hardcore drugs like cocaine or heroin or something like that, like you're not just affecting yourself, you're hurting your loved ones, you're hurting other people. And like I think that was kind of an interesting way to like look at all this like Cenobite bullshit, where it's like, look, like you can do whatever you want, but like people are gonna get hurt, like your friends are gonna get hurt. Like the first victim that they take is Justin from 13 Reasons Why, like, and it's, and I didn't think any of the characters were like annoying. Like, sure, they could have used more character, they could have used more development, but like I cared when like some shit happened to them. Like going back to that, like that van, like ripping up the spine, like poking the pin into her throat thing. Like I didn't know much about her, but like I was on edge. Like I was really, really like terrified by that scene, and like that scene where like
that scene was probably the best scene in
yeah,
the movie.
and the scene where like Justin from 13 Reasons Why's boyfriend, like when he gets like when he's about to get like murked himself by it wasn't Smash Mouth, it was someone else. I think it was Choking Hazard. Yeah, when this new version of Choking Hazard like is about to like murk that guy, and she was like, no, take this asshole instead, like it's like I'm on it, like I'm on edge, like I'm like concerned. It's like, oh shit, like I hope they don't kill Justin from 13 Reasons Why's boyfriend, like, and I cared, like I honestly didn't expect the twist where the guy that the main character was fucking or whatever, like he was like a twist villain or something like that. I honestly didn't expect that, and like did a movie
I
like
didn't
this
expect it because it was dumb.
Yeah.
I don't know, like
I
did
thought
a
maybe it
movie
could
like that
happen.
need this? I don't know, like maybe not, but like I don't
I
know.
kind
but
of like that.
I liked it, yeah, and it was a
just-
good contrast with like the actual main villain, like the fucking like the dude who has the fucking like calculator stuck in his chest or whatever.
I do think like there was a bit too many villains though, because like there's like 4 Cenobites, and then there's like the main dude that like owns the house, and then there's also the twist villain. Like
I thought the twist was I thought it was inane, and I thought it was dead on arrival. Like
I don't
by
know,
that
I
point,
liked
was
it,
irrelevant.
yeah.
Like
And I don't-
just he was a character who was quite sensible, and I appreciated that about him beforehand.
Yeah, I like
he
that
was
about
like
him too.
somebody was like,
Yeah.
he
Like,
was
you
like,
just
oh, do
gotta
you,
go
why
chuck
didn't,
the
why, do you
box
want to
away.
try it? And he was like,
Yeah.
fuck no, I
Yeah.
don't fuck with that shit. And I was like, oh my god, fucking finally. And then at the end, it was like,
Someone
oh,
with
he
sense.
orchestrated the whole thing.
Yeah,
He
and he
was
got his-
architect of all of
but-
your pain. And it's
But
like,
that made
fuck,
his
really?
death like all the more satisfying. It's like, oh, you're this fucking scumbag like stab backer person. It's like he got his
Yeah.
comeuppance. He got like
Stab
that. Yeah.
I will agree with Timmy
Falling
in like
down
the
like a
sense
big
where like
well.
even
That
though
was
the
a weird
characters
one.
aren't like fully developed, you do kind of still feel something, because at least they still feel like actual people that would actually exist.
Yeah.
Kind of like The Descent as well.
Exactly,
Like
yeah.
all the characters feel like genuine people, and we'll get to that later. But
I'll say for them that their other than the main character, the decision making was generally solid. It was
I
better
felt
than
like
a lot
yeah,
of
it
they
was
made
great.
reasonable
Like,
choices.
It
It's
was
like
better
if
than
I
most
Yeah.
horror movies.
yeah, if I was
Yeah.
stuck in this situation where a bunch of BDSM artists were trying to like kill me, like these would be like some reasonable choices that like no one made any stupid decisions in my opinion. Like no one was fucking moronic. Like this is the issue with like a lot of horror movies. It's like when I think like Friday the 13th or some shit like that, people are just being stupid for the sake of being stupid. It's like
yeah.
these people are making reasonable choices, like the same way like the character, like you mentioned the Descent, and that's a good option. Another example would be like The Thing. Like these movies, like people are reasonably making decisions that make sense, but they're still being killed for it. So it's like, it keeps you engaged. Like it makes you interested in what's going on. Like even if I don't know anything about these characters, like I still care for them because they act and talk like real people. So, and I think
I agree to an extent
Yeah.
with a lot of the main cast, but I think the real weak link in the decision making chain was the boyfriend character, because at the end, when he was like, "Oh no, you're doing it because nobody else is going to pay you what I do," and it's like, you're telling me that this guy who it's shown, some fundamental empathy for other people, is willing to subject, indefinite amounts of 5 originally, but it's kind of set up that he's going to continue working for him, to eternal torture for
Yeah.
like a bit of a paycheck. And I was with him until the twist.
Yeah,
I
don't
just
know.
didn't. I think it was a twist for the sake of it. I don't really think it holds that
Yeah.
much.
I liked it. I don't know.
It's fun. It's fun as a
Yeah.
twist. It was like, oh, but
Yeah.
when you think about it, it's like, okay, that's dumb. And
I
that's
really
that's
like-
kind of my point of contention with the whole movie, is that
Yeah.
like, it works to string together these set pieces, which are admittedly very cool. I will admit, I'll concur that they're not kills, but the captures, whatever, they're wicked. I love the sort of the way they fuck about with scenery and like that Inception kind of way or whatever. There's a lot of really great stuff in it, but I think it's quite transparent that it just operates as a way to sort of segue these things together, and less as sort of a narrative that is particularly like consistent or
Yeah, what I love about
makes sense.
what I love about the Cenobites in this one is that they feel very reminiscent of the Cenobites in the original, and like this is what I've been desperately wanting with the Cenobites in all these shitty sequels, is that like what made the Cenobites so intimidating was that like they're not like traditional like slasher villains in the sense that like, ooh, spooky man with mask tries to kill you. Like they're in a weird fucked up way, they're very impartial, because like all they care about is like, so look, we just care about this freaky deaky shit. It doesn't matter who you are or like how good or bad of a person you are. All that matters sorry, Jesus. All that matters is that, look, you opened the box and you summoned us, and we don't care who you are. We just want to take you and do this like BDSM shit. And like they bring it back to what I loved about them in the original, where it's like they're very impartial beings who care about, getting their freaky deaky on. And even Pinhead like makes that very clear. It's like, look, we don't care who you stab with the box, like as long as you stab someone and we get like our comeuppance. Like that's why they like killed off like their version of like mouth herpes in this one, like because like when the main character stabbed mouth herpes, like they didn't hesitate for a second. They like fucking like destroyed his ass and like ripped him apart. It's like that was like great. It's like it shows that like that kind of characterizes like, yes, these are very impartial dimensional beings. Like if they stabbed like Choking Hazard or Smash Mouth or any of these fucking like new characters, it's like they wouldn't bat an eye. They would rip them apart in a second. So it's like that's what I really loved about them. Like I'm sure Pinhead, like if they stabbed this new version of Pinhead, like the same thing would have happened. Like I love these new versions of the Cenobites, and their actual design is fucking awesome. Like apparently the Cenobite design in this one is supposed to be more closer to what like Clive Barker originally intended or something like that. Because I don't know, like if anyone has read the book, like correct me if I'm wrong, like in the book, like they're apparently like they look very similar to what they look like in this movie, where it's like, like their skin has been like ripped apart and like, latched on and all that shit. Like in the original, they're just wearing Matrix get-ups. They're just wearing like some latex and all that stuff. And like, they did one too many like, opioids or anything. Like, you know, like they're
think,
very pale skin. And this one, it's like they're kind of human, but like they're kind of been like ripped apart and dissected and stuff like that. Like I love the design of the Cenobites in this one. So
I
yeah.
think it was a bit sexless for me. Like what I
Oh
liked
yeah.
about them in the original was just that it was like pure just kink. You know, it was like
Yeah.
this is like the most fucked up, crazy BDSM shit ever. Where in the new one, it felt like it was beyond BDSM. You know, I found it a bit
it's
like,
beyond our understanding, sort of thing.
yeah, and you know, I appreciate that about it. But like, it's fundamentally. I mean, the original was a film about being punished for being too kinky. You know.
Yeah.
And there
And-
wasn't a lot of that. This was a kind of like sexless narrative as well, because it wasn't trying to be. But I found, you know, the appeal of the Cenobites was that it's like
Exactly. Yeah.
they're sort of punishment for just being too goddamn horny. Whereas, you know, in this one,
Go to
it's
horny
like,
jail.
Yeah,
Go to horny jail.
It's horny jail. You know, the Cenobite hell is horny jail.
It is horny jail.
And this was less horny jail. This was more being a drug addict jail. Yeah, I guess, or like I guess it's set up to.
Well, I thought it was
You punish people around you. It's an allegory for drug abuse, whatever. I get that about it, but you know,
I thought it was also a punishment of obsession too, because like in the beginning, like the fucking Elon Musk looking dumbass, like he was like
I love this guy.
yeah,
I fucking love this guy.
like he was
Yeah.
very much like like because like his whole ordeal is that, oh, I want to like feel like, what did he say, like he wanted like ultimate pleasure or something like that, you know, something along those lines, like gift from God or some shit.
He wanted a machine on his ding dong that
Yeah,
just like
he
operated
wanted-
like 4,000 sort of.
He
suction
probably
power,
wanted
whatever.
yeah, he wanted
But
like
he got a little bit more than
he wanted a super suck machine, and he got a calculator stuck in his chest instead. And I liked that because, you know, this whole thing that they're exploring, this obsession of like wanting more, you know, like wanting the gift from the gods and stuff like that. And like you could view it as like a cautionary tale of like, oh no, like don't ask for too much, because what happens to him is actually very similar to what happens to the main doctor bad guy in Hellraiser 2, which I don't think any of you have seen. I guess only I've seen.
I haven't seen that one yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, spoilers for Hellraiser 2, I guess, because this is important in terms of like comparison. So like in Hellraiser 2, there's this like psychiatrist doctor person who like puts the main girl Kirsty in from the original Hellraiser in like an insane asylum, but he's like using like the insane asylum patients to like not only bring back the terrible British woman from the first Hellraiser, but like using her as like a gateway to like see the power of the gods or something like that. Like this new Elon Musk villain like was very similar to like the doctor guy in Hellraiser 2, and they even share the same fates, because what happens to the doctor is that like he becomes a Cenobite himself. He becomes what I like to call Dr. Fuck. He becomes the Cenobite Dr. Fuck. And in this one, he like they do the same thing. Like he's like, I want power. Like, well, no, like Pinhead was like, so what you want isn't pleasure, it's power, and we can provide that and stuff like that. And so like they turn him into a Cenobite, and assuming they make a sequel to this shit, which they probably will, like that's probably what's going to happen. They're going to introduce this new Dr. Fuck version of Elon Musk, and I don't know. I thought that was all really cool. Like, this was done way better than Hellraiser 2, I'll say that. Like, this makes more sense than it did in Hellraiser 2, so...
I liked the ending. I liked the sequence where they changed him into a Cenobite. I
Yeah.
thought that was
Pretty
really good.
brutal.
And I thought I generally like that character quite a lot, because I think it really does get down to it sort of harks back to the originals, or the original, in a
Yeah.
way that he's just like a massive piece of shit, and he wants one thing, because the original it wasn't about the guy. It's done in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
The guy he'd done the box, whatever, he'd gone through the configurations, and he got what he wanted, and then it turned out that it wasn't. And
I wanted to ask,
know.
Jules and Tom, because you guys have seen the original. How does Jamie Clayton as Pinhead, like, how does she compare to Doug Bradley? I'm curious to hear what your thoughts.
Just cool. Just it was cool. It was a cool design. I don't really.
Yeah.
I find that the concept of the Cenobites more evocative than the actual like. Than they are in film. Like I feel like Hellraiser is one of those films that like when you're a kid and somebody tells you about it, you're like, wow, that sounds really scary and gross and weird, you know. And then when you watch it, it's like, you know.
It's like, yeah.
So I think it's they're like the same level of basically being quite cool, but not it's not as cool as it
Not
would be if
quite
you described it to somebody.
yeah.
Yeah, because you
But I
could look
think
at
it's,
like you could look at Doug Bradley as like he's like the Jigsaw, or like where it's like, you know, like when you think Jigsaw you think like Tobin Bell and stuff like that. So I don't know if you guys had that like same level of like affiliation with like Pinhead or anything like that. So
I don't think we've got any sort of ride or die Hellraiser stands in the chat right now. So
yeah,
I
I've
feel like
seen
they're-
all of
they're
them, and
maybe-
but I wouldn't call myself a fucking fan. Yeah.
yeah, well, you know, people are, and people love Doug Bradley, but again, you know, other people have been Pinhead since. I think it was the one we watched, the last one that he was in.
Yeah, that was
think it may have
no. That was the last one he was in. It was the one Jules and I watched, Hellworld.
Okay.
Yeah,
Hellworld.
and Jules, you
Yeah,
love
right.
that
the
one,
last one
right?
we did.
Yeah.
I love that one.
Yeah.
So it's
If
been-
I
it's
ever
been
meet Henry
different already,
Cavill,
so-
I'll ask him about it.
I think
Henry
anybody who's got a problem with it being a woman, it's just going to be that, isn't it? Because
Not just a woman, but a trans woman. That will definitely rile up people. So
Yeah, well, fuck them, because they replaced Pinhead anyway, didn't they? So
they
made
replaced
Pinhead
Pinhead like
woke.
twice. Yeah. So
if like Doug Bradley had been in it all the way up to now and he wanted to be in the new one in the same way that like the original voice actor for like Solid Snake got kicked out of like the Metal Gear Solid series for
Yeah,
Kiefer
yeah.
Sutherland or whatever, you know, I'd understand to it being a point of contention. If he was like, I really wanted to be in the new Hellraiser, but they fucking booted me out. They booted me out for, you know, the hot new. Is it Jamie Clayton?
Jamie
Is that
Clayton.
it?
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, you know, I'd be like, okay, I get it, but
I was wondering where I'd
I
seen
don't
her
basically
from
think
because
so.
I didn't recognize her at first. Apparently, she was in Sense8 with the Kachowskis. So yeah, got to rewatch that at some point. Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, she was awesome, and
She was
yeah,
great.
I think
I can't
it was really cool.
understand
She was-
how
she was
fucking
really good.
awesome. Yeah, I can't understand how fucking awesome she was as I think this might be my new favorite version of Pinhead. Like, obviously Doug Bradley is
Well, she's
like
not-
iconic,
She's not
but like,
called she's not called Pinhead in this. I don't think she's
well,
called like the
technically
Hell
no
Priest.
one is called like Pinhead isn't called Pinhead in any of these Hellraiser movies. We just
Oh,
call
They-
so it's
we
like
just
a
call
Baby Yoda
yeah.
situation.
It's the same way how like fuck, I don't know. Well, it's
like
the
how
same-
Baby Yoda's not actually called Baby Yoda.
Yeah, I was gonna try to find a
she's
similar
called-
comparison. Yeah.
But it was Clive Barker
priestess.
clarified the Hell Priest. Pinhead was the name that was a staff who worked on the original called him Pinhead, and then
Yeah,
it kind
Clive
of
Barker
became, like, a
actually
fan
hates that
thing.
name. Like he hates it when
People call him Pinhead. Yeah,
People call
but
him
fuck
Pinhead, yeah,
because it's
so.
a great name because he's got pins in the red. So
Yeah.
kinda
Whenever you're gonna
fits.
see,
Kinda
whenever you're gonna
fits,
see
yeah.
Dirty Dan in any of these movies.
The Hell Priest. It's a bit triad, isn't it? Really, I think Pinhead.
That was a
Pinhead's pretty
SpongeBob
wicked.
joke, in case anyone didn't realize that. Yeah, but I loved Jamie Clayton as Pinhead. She was fucking awesome. She might be my new favorite version of this character. Like, because like Doug Bradley's iconic, but like this one was like, oh my, like this was awesome. I loved her as.
And also,
as,
how old is Doug Bradley? Like, is he still alive?
He's still alive. I think he's in his 60s, right? Maybe 70s. I don't know.
I mean, if he was like in his 80s, then you'd have like Pinhead like whipping on in frame and like a little Zimmer frame or whatever. Maybe would have
I really
got
hope
with the vibes a bit.
that in a sequel, because there probably will be a sequel, please do not give Pinhead a backstory, because like that was the shittiest part of the Hellraiser 2 and 3. They just randomly gave Pinhead a fucking backstory, like he was like a fucking ex-British soldier in World War One, and then he like opened the box and then he became like I said, like what the fuck, like who asked for any of this shit, like, you know, like so please, for the love of God, do not give Pinhead backstory. Don't give any of these Cenobites backstory. Don't give Choking Hazard or Smash Mouth or fucking new Cenobite that I didn't give a name for. Like, don't give any of them backstories, please. Like, holy God.
Is that the one with the skin hood?
Yes,
one,
Smash Mouth is the one with like the skin hood.
Ash
Yeah.
from Apex Legends.
Yeah.
I like Mouth.
I really like that mouth herpes keeps coming back to each of these Hellraiser movies.
Is that the one who goes? Nyang, 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 nyang,
Yeah, that's the one with
nyang,
just
nyang,
teeth.
nyang,
Yeah, the clicker guy.
Yeah,
I thought that was dumb.
Yeah, and then Choking Hazard. This is actually her first Hellraiser movie since Hellraiser 4 because Hellraiser
Timmy
4 had
was
its
fucking cheering when they brought her back.
Yeah.
Yes!
Hell yeah,
They
Choking-
finally brought her back.
They brought back Choking Hazard, my favorite. Yeah. No,
The
you don't.
movie's so much better now.
You don't know how Luca knows this. You don't know how ecstatic was when I saw mouth herpes again, because mouth herpes is my second favorite Cenobite. Yeah, so
So weird to have favorite, impossible.
well, I don't know
Hateful
if you've
beings
seen
from
so
the
many of
Netherrealm,
these. If you've seen so many of these Hellraiser movies, you just like tend to like one over the others. Like I never liked any of the new Cenobites. Like they introduced like Siamese twins and like Switch and Tupac and all these other like new Cenobites, and like I fucking hated them.
These are all super like specific references that only you are gonna get to me.
You and
Well,
all
it's not like
all the
Choking Hazard is like
the 14 people who have seen the rest of the Hellraiser movies.
Yeah.
The second one.
I mean,
That's generous. It's more
mouth
like five
herpes,
people.
mouth herpes, and Choking Hazard aren't like specific references to anything. They're just like funny things that came to my mind, And Nikocado Avocado is like that's a reference
I
everyone
know,
knows.
but like
Yeah.
like people are just gonna hear these out of context and just have no clue what you're talking about. Like,
Just like somebody's gonna hear you say Nikocado Avocado in reference to Hellraiser, like
Yeah,
and
exactly.
be like,
Was anybody
I know what
disappointed?
you're talking about.
Was anybody disappointed by the
You're
fact that
gonna
they didn't bring
traumatize
like
some guy who doesn't know who Nick Cardo is.
I was really disappointed that they didn't introduce a new version of Nikocado Avocado in this one. I was so mad about that. It's like they brought back mouth herpes and Choking Hazard, but they didn't bring back Nikocado Avocado. Anyways, yeah, we can move on from this. Yeah, unless anyone else has like anything
Yeah,
dying
ratings.
more to say. Yeah.
Well,
No.
about Hellraiser in general, or about this specific tangent? That we've
This
been on for,
one
like,
or
5
tangent
minutes?
or fucking whatever. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, it's not. I think with Hellraiser 2022, it exists just as a framework to get to this end sequence, which is admittedly wicked. The last 15 minutes are kind of badass.
I don't know, but the journey to the
yeah.
end point was like just as
I just-
entertaining. I was never bored.
I was
so-
never bored either, but I was definitely like, is this?
There were
Is
points
this-
my mind started to wander a little bit.
I think I was eating cereal. I was trying to eat cereal while watching the end sequence, and I was like,
Yeah.
I was so tired the first time I watched it. I had to watch it again.
oof, rough. Yeah,
Did you like
I-
it more the second time or?
No, I was actually
Wow,
like
really?
exactly the same on it. Like I was recording like a bit of my Halloween special, and I was like, and this was before I rewatched it, and I was like, so yeah, I'm not like the biggest fan of this movie, but I liked it. And I was super tired when I watched it, so I need to I'll put like a text on screen to give my updated thoughts to after I've watched it properly, but literally none of my thoughts have changed. So
I liked it for what it was, and as a sort of excuse to string these fun Cenobite set pieces
Yeah.
together.
Yeah, and the actual
and it's
directing was
enjoyable.
awesome.
Yeah,
Like,
it
I haven't
looks- it
seen
look-
the
it
Night
looks
House,
great,
but
and-
I can imagine like if the Night House is anything like this new Hellraiser, then like I guess David Bruckner's like my new favorite horror director. Then I guess so.
I heard similar things about the Night House in just that I just found it narratively tenuous in a way that meant I couldn't like really get into it.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm gonna
I feel
see the
like
Night
we're
House
running
at some
around in
point,
circles
yeah.
now, though. We should
Yeah.
probably move on.
Yeah. Yeah.
And give our ratings.
Yeah, let's
or-
do it.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, I'll go first because I loved this. Yeah, I gave it a 7, but honestly, like if I watch it again, who knows? It could be an 8. But I guess for now, like I'll give it a 7 out of 10, closer to an 8 than a 6. Yeah, I really love this. Yeah, so
Yeah.
I'll give it a 6 out of 10. Didn't like it, but I thought it was pretty solid.
nice.
Yeah, I think I liked it more than Jules, but I'd also give it a 6 out of 10. I thought it was really cool and solid, and it was just a great version of like typical remakes that you see nowadays. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Tom?
I like it. I do like it. It's fun, you know.
I like it too.
but
Yeah.
It's just I couldn't really like. It's hard for me to go to bat for a movie that I think it just doesn't like it narratively doesn't really justify its existence. that
I'm
well.
surprised
So I
all
think
you
it's
guys are
probably
like
a 6.
so like yes yeah. I'm surprised like all you guys are so like kind of on the movie. I don't know. Maybe it's purely
Timmy,
because
again,
my...
you did watch like 100 awful fucking Hellraiser movies before this. Like,
That's fair.
Yeah,
that might have
I
something
think
to do with
It was
that.
better than
It's-
Hellraiser Hellwell, I'll give it that.
Obviously. Yeah.
Maybe a 6. Maybe a
Yeah.
6 for me. I like I like it. And we like horror. I'm like a big horror buff as well. Like you routinely shit on movies that I absolutely go to bat for. So I'm surprised that you like it as much, to be honest, to me. But yeah,
It must be because I've
This is
seen
what
all
you
those
get for
shitty
shitting
sequels.
on Dead Man's Chest.
That's fair. This is my punishment for that. The Cenobites, you can take me now. So yeah.
you know, this punishment is that you get to be a part of Davy Jones's crew.
That would.
Which would you rather choose?
I mean, they both sound like fucking hell.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess
I
I'd part of
would
be a.
say shoot.
I like the ocean, so I'd probably say Davy Jones's crew.
Well, I guess if the difference is getting coral herpes and, you know, being ripped apart, I guess I would rather have coral herpes. So, yeah, let's do that. I'll pick that one.
And also, David, it wasn't forever. You know, they got to
Yeah.
get away from it at a certain point.
It's true.
So
I think it's
Yeah.
and this
We
is
just needed to
eventually,
stab
like,
Davy
100
Jones's
years.
heart and then replace him with Legolas. That's all we needed to
And
do.
also, they were betting on time as well, weren't they? Like people were gambling with years, so it wasn't forever. Whereas this is
Yeah.
forever.
Yeah, so as long
it
as
was
I
probably
don't
a fucking long time, but still, it's
as
not
long as I don't
forever.
stupidly gamble my years to this fucking ship, then yeah, I guess I could do anything. Yeah. So,
All in all, Hellraiser, decent.
yeah.
Talking about decent, more like the descent.
Ooh,
More like
that was a good one.
That was a good one,
The
yeah, yeah.
decent, am I right, fellas?
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
decent. Let's go.
Yeah,
okay,
that was a
so-
good one. I couldn't think of a better one. Yeah, that's a good
wow.
one. Yeah.
Got him. Fucking got
Okay,
him. nerds.
I'll introduce us. Yeah, so this was my recommendation. I chose it number 1 because I love this movie so much, and it's been a while since I've seen it. And number 2, I was like, you know, we've got a British lad joining us. Let me try to think of something, you know, a bit close to home to recommend.
Something British.
Yeah.
It is British.
I mean, is it though? Because
It
one,
is
there
a
is an
British-made
American,
movie. Yes.
It's a
British.
British movie,
and it
with
takes
a
place in
predominantly-
America.
It just
It takes place in America, but like,
Why did this take place in
So-
America?
so,
If
mi-
like,
mi-
if,
there's reasons for it. Did you not watch the movie?
Mr. Bean's holiday takes place in fucking France. Are you going to tell me that's not a British movie? Timmy? Are you going to tell me that's a French
Mad Max
masterpiece?
Fury Road was
So,
shot in like
you
the
know.
Nubian desert.
I didn't
That's
think
an
that
Australian
I didn't think
film.
this discussion
Yeah.
would be about this. Yeah. Anyway, continue, Luca. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah. No, this is a movie I love a lot. It's just great. It's a fun time, but also, I'll get into this soon. Actually, I'll just get into it now. I hope you guys watched the right ending of the movie, because there's 2
There was a
endings
right
to this
ending?
film.
I think I had the extended one.
Yeah, so the ending is supposed to end of her like looking at her daughter, and it reveals that she's back in the cave.
Oh, I didn't.
Did you get that?
No,
version,
I didn't get
Timmy?
that. I got the. I watched whatever
Wow.
version was on Amazon Prime, and it ended with this like. The ending was fucking awful. It was like her like looking at Juno like in the car, and she screams
Yeah,
or whatever. That was
you
shitty.
Need to watch the. You need to watch. The
I didn't know
proper
there was a
ending.
different
I
ending.
forgot.
Yeah.
I forgot to mention this last episode. I should have done it, but I just assumed like everyone would get the right ending.
I just
'cause
watched whatever was on
I've
Amazon
never
Prime.
actually
Yeah,
seen
so-
the version with the alternate ending. So basically, Timmy,
Okay,
to just
yeah.
give you some context,
Sure, yeah.
that still happens in this cut of the film, but after that, it cuts to her back in the cave, and she has like a vision of her daughter like blowing out the cake candles again and stuff.
Oh
and
my God.
It reveals that she never actually escaped. It's actually a really great ending.
Yeah, so the cake candle that she's looking at is actually just the light from her torch, and then
Yeah.
it kind of pans out and it shows the
Oh.
And it
crawlers-
kind of really
shows the crawlers coming in,
recontextualizes the film, like...
Wow. Okay, I gotta look this up. Yeah, I gotta look this up because
Yeah, it's really short, like if you just want to watch it quickly while we talk.
Okay.
It's like
Yeah.
it's literally like 30 seconds, but it
Yeah.
changes everything.
It
And the thing is,
changes
like,
so
so
much.
okay,
it's the
this
point of the film as well. Like
Yeah,
they just cut
yeah.
off like a 30-second scene to just completely annihilate everything that the movie was going for.
Yeah.
It was because
And I
the
guess while Timmy's
producer said it was
watching
too depressing.
Yeah, so American audiences, like test audiences, deemed this ending too depressing, so then they just cut it for American audiences. And I think like some DVD releases or something, but yeah, like everyone else knows this ending, which is the great ending. But yeah, no, this film is just, it's just a, I don't, I'm having trouble like thinking of what I like about it so much, but I just think it's a solid character group piece, like some great themes being explored. It has that really great like nostalgic 2000s vibe to it.
Yeah.
And it just
It does
is a
seem like a
great
movie from
setting
2005.
and a great like exploration. It's a descent into this cave, but it's also a descent into this character's like life and like emotional journey, and I really love it. What
Yeah,
does everyone
I'm-
else think?
Hold on, I'm actually watching the ending, and this is insane. This is fucking wild. Sorry, I'm
Yeah.
watching that. Yeah, this new ending. Yeah.
It's-
Anyway, yeah,
It's
Jules.
it's so much better. It's
Yeah,
the,
it's
it's
so
the
much better.
it's you know
This,
it wraps
this is stupid. Why didn't they end
It's
it like
far
this? That was
superior.
dumb as fuck. Because I watched whatever was on
Too
Amazon Prime. It
depressing.
must have been the U.S. Because I realized there's
It
a
must
UK
have been.
and a U.S. cut, and like I must have watched the U.S. cut. I didn't realize because like the first time I saw this, that's the ending I also remember too. I didn't realize there was a different version. Yeah. So.
Yeah, honestly, like I should have mentioned it like when I recommended it. Like I just it completely slipped my mind. but,
Okay. Yeah. So anyway,
Yeah.
sorry, Jules. I was interrupting you. You go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, I really liked it. I think it's a great character study, and also, I don't know about you guys, but I do not see what the fun is in like spelunking. That shit seems so
Yeah,
so
that's
Yeah.
terrifying
No.
to me.
That's
Yeah.
like for fucking like hardcoreists who like have nothing better to do with their lives.
I think
Yeah,
that was
and
the
there's, like,
scariest bit of
it's-
the movie, the bit when the
Yeah, and there's
cave
like
was
English
collapsing.
teachers and shit in this movie just doing like spelunking. Like, damn, like, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But I'm glad you actually
Yeah, it's-
mentioned that, Tom. Because,
Plays on my fears of that.
what I liked about the film is that it's still successfully is still successfully tense and like scary.
It's very
Like
tense.
even though they only introduce the creatures like an hour into the film.
Yeah.
It still manages to be like a
It's what
like a
13
tense
Lives should
journey.
have been.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wait,
exactly.
what?
No, because no, I knew I was thinking the exact same thing because like the like if even if there weren't any like fucking cave vampire people, golem fuckers or anything like that, like the first like out like the first like maybe 40 minutes of the movie was surprisingly tense because like they put these characters in a lot of dangerous situations where like they have to climb like across like the cave rift or
Yeah.
whatever, and like there was that one scene that I was actually kind of terrified with where it's like the main character, what was her name again, Sarah or something
Sarah.
like that. Yeah, like she gets stuck in the cave. She's freaking out. It's like, help, I'm stuck or whatever. Like that was like terrifying. Like I was
Yeah,
like, that's
it's
scarier
fucking-
than like all of these fucking golem like
There
vampire
are
people, yeah.
stakes in this movie before the introduction. I think they're called crawlers, but they were called
Cave
crawlers.
crawlers,
but-
they're
yeah,
called,
whatever.
yeah.
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 But there were stakes before. This Juno character, she tried to take them on an adventure to an unmarked cave so they could discover it. The flight plans weren't but in the right place so nobody knows they're there. It effectively, the setup works as a caving movie, you know, where they're like trying to get out of this cave and figure out whether or not they're going to be able to get out, whatever.
Yeah,
and then also there's vampires. You know,
It
that's
looked
what's
like-
great about it.
It looked like
Yeah.
they were in like a real cave, but apparently they just built a lot of like sets for this movie, which is like crazy because it's like
Really?
it doesn't
Yeah.
look like that at all. Like it
That's
looks
crazy.
like they
it's
filmed in a real
crazy
cave.
actually how they use the sets. The set design and lighting and capturing the atmosphere of this cave is impeccable in this film. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, I
The-
think
the
that this is one of
visuals
those
are
moments
incredible.
where
Yeah.
like I'm
Yeah.
kind of pissed off by like how unnecessarily dark like some horror movies can look, but like this is one where it's like it uses that to its advantage. Like it's like
Yeah.
an integral part of the movie, and I think that's what makes the jump scares more terrifying than anything. Because like I hate jump scares. I think jump scares are like the cheapest fucking things in the world. But this is a movie where it's like, I mean, I still thought the jump scares were kind of cheap at some points, but like they were at least a little justified. They were a little warranted because like the characters can't see shit. Like they can't see anything.
Yeah.
And so like when they're shocked by like a random, you know, vampire cannibal guy like jumping in front of them, like I like that comes out of nowhere just as much as that comes out of nowhere for the character. So like it was a little justified. I mean, I still wish they didn't constantly rely on all these jump scares, but like it was effective, I guess, for what it's going
The
for.
only
So,
the only ones that I don't really like are the ones where Sarah's having that dream sequence when she's in the cabin and you get the bars.
Yeah, that's the one that I don't.
that
really
was
like
stupid as fuck.
either.
Yeah.
And then obviously the Juno one at the end. But I found the rest of
Yeah.
them to be absolutely justified. Especially like
Yeah.
the film shows you it shows you exactly what it needs to show you. It shows you what the characters are seeing and what they can't see.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think the rest of them, and they didn't feel cheap. There wasn't like a sting, you know, where it goes wah in like a lot of modern horror movies where it's only scary because it just it blasts you with like an unbelievable volume of loud music. Whereas in this, it's a jump scare because it's scary and you're
Yeah.
just seeing it, you know.
I also I loved like the three different like uses of color that like came from the lighting, and it's really cool because they all like, even though not all of it was like, I don't know, I guess natural light, it still like really fit the tone, and it also related like to some of the things characters said and had. Like the red light was kind of like a reflection of like the characters' flares, and then the green light was kind of like a reflection of like the characters like glow in the, or not like glow in the dark, but like they had the camera out and like it was green, you know, like what is that called? What is that effect called when something is like night vision? That's it.
Yeah,
Fucking
yeah.
night vision.
Night vision.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it becomes like
It's a red,
Outlast
yeah.
or something where like they
Yeah,
Yes.
and like the yellow
cameras,
lights,
yeah.
like they said that there were like phosphorus in the rock, and there's like actually some really cool ways to like describe like the colors that these like the lighting is emanating in this film, and yeah, it's
think
all
it-
very.
I wish
yeah.
they played with that a little bit more, because like I really loved all those segments where they use the camera to like that they're filming like as like both a light source but also to see what the hell, because like my favorite like kind of reveal of these vampire cannibals are like using like the camera to kind of like look at them like the same way like you'd use the camera in like Outlast or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, like I wish they committed to that more. Like I wish they played around with that more, but whatever. It was still effective, I guess. Yeah. so.
I think they played around. I think I appreciated the slight variety in lighting and presentation.
Yeah, there was a
Yeah.
lot of
Enjoyed
like cool
the
lighting techniques,
the
like
glow
they use
stick
glow
stuff, the
sticks.
flare
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah,
yeah.
Mhm, yeah.
Yeah.
I
That's
think it could have
another
very
one of those
effectively
sticks, yeah.
worked as a black and white movie as well. To be honest. I
Oh,
think.
that would be awesome
No,
if we could get like
I
a.
think those
Yeah.
colors are too striking to me. Honestly.
Yeah, but people said that about Mad Max Fury Road, but Fury Road was originally intended to be black and white.
Yeah,
and
so-
if you watch the black and
I
white
guess
version,
so.
I mean, it
looks great.
definitely would help the first any of the outdoors, because like I don't know about you guys.
Yeah,
I thought
the
any
grading-
scene
the grading when it was
outside, it
outside
looked
wasn't
ugly as
great,
hell.
yeah.
It was
Yeah, it looked
disgusting to look at.
terrible.
It looked like I was watching a fucking Twilight movie. Like it was like
It-
the opening, like
Great.
yeah,
I
the,
liked it. I
the
liked
use
it.
of like the disgusting like grading use of like blue and like all these like natural colors. Like it looked like I was watching the first Twilight movie. It was disgusting to look at. Like I couldn't handle like the first like maybe
It's like,
20
it's
minutes
like
of the
looking
movie.
at it through a brown quality street wrapper.
Yeah.
Like, it just looked Yeah, it was just a bit. Yeah, I don't appreciate the grading and the.
Why did they choose to film
outdoorsy
it that way?
sequences,
I
yeah.
was so confused. Like, why?
Yeah, I also feel like that's also where the writing is weakest as well. Because
I
some of
didn't
the
notice
aspects
that.
Oh, yeah,
of
in the,
dialogue
yeah.
in this movie
cabin
are
scenes.
a bit.
Cringe.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, when they're in the cave and it's all survival, it's better, because it's like it really gets to it. And
Well, they were trying to
but
do,
when they're
like-
just hanging out or whatever, it's like,
Oh,
is
yeah.
this? There's this particular
the
sequence
scenes
which
in the
makes me
cabin are a
cringe
bit-
every
yes.
time, which
Yeah,
is where
cringe.
they're just talking, and then Sarah's like, "Love each day," something fucking Craig used to say, and it's like the most generic ass fucking
I know, but
quote
also
ever,
like it kind of makes sense because they're like white women.
yeah, yeah. like real
always-
like you sort of
always
Karen
white
They're like
vibes,
older
yeah.
white women, so like I
Yeah,
think it
what-
kind of makes sense.
It makes sense, but it still makes me cringe because it's like a
Yeah,
fucking embarrassing
yeah.
It
slogan
makes
to
sense, yeah, but
have.
it doesn't change how cringe like the opening. Cause like I get what they were going for. Like they were trying to do the film like structurally reminded me a lot of like The Thing. So much so they fucking used the actual music from The Thing in the movie. It was fucking annoying. Like I like not that the music itself is like bad, but it's just like they play it twice and it's like, why are you playing music from The Thing? I don't understand this at all. But like
The
they were
music
trying
is
to do it.
great, man.
I don't know. I didn't
Yeah.
like how they used the music from The Thing. That annoyed me. But like they were trying to do like The Thing where it's like, oh, they're like buddying, they're like talking about like, normal crap and stuff like that. And then when like the actual horror scenes like happen, like you know and like enough of these characters to like, oh my god, like what the hell is gonna happen sort of thing. But like in The Thing, it's like the thing, it's like they reasonably like give enough depth to each character and like they feel like real people, to the extent that it's like you care even if you don't really know most of these people. But in this one, it's like, yeah, it's like Tom mentioned, like they're all saying all this cringe shit, and like I guess I get that they're kind of Karens, but at the same time it's like, I don't know, I've heard Karens say more reasonable things than whatever the hell they're saying here, so it's like, I don't know, like I could go without all this cringe stuff. So yeah.
I found them to be distinct enough to be still quite engaging. Obviously, some of
Yeah.
the dialogue is trash, but I found
mean,
that each
yeah.
of the characters was very like, very much like in a person. They seemed like a person, I
Yeah.
didn't think it was. I think they were all quite unique characters, like the Beth. Is it Beth, the friend character?
Who?
Yeah.
I
I
couldn't
like-
tell any of these women apart aside from
It was
Juno.
the one who got stabbed in the throat by Juno.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
Well, she was a messy bitch right up to the end as well. I love that when she's dying, she's like, "This bitch, fucking." she fucked your husband.
I'm no doctor, but I'm pretty sure if it gets stabbed in the throat, you can't survive that long. That's all I'm
depends
saying.
what
But, yeah.
it depends where you get stabbed in the throat, I suppose. But yeah,
Yeah.
And Juno was interesting as well. I thought she was cool, and Sarah was great. Like she's obviously got
Love
like a
Sarah.
lot of survivor's guilt. She turns into a fucking hero at the end of it as well. Like when she's
Yeah,
standing
she's
there
great.
covered in blood.
That
like,
opening
she's
scene
Yeah.
is pretty grim as well.
Yeah, I think she honestly
I
had.
was not expecting that.
Yeah, sorry, Jules, go ahead. Yeah.
I said I was not expecting that opening scene to be like as quick and
Gnarly.
as just like
Yeah.
come out of nowhere as it was.
Yeah. And as someone who hadn't seen the movie in so long, like I forgot about that opening, so I was like just as shocked as the first time I saw it. Yeah. So.
But it's not a jump scare either, because you can see if you.
Yeah.
You can see them
You can
swerving
see
into
the car crash.
slowly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I loved her in like the last like 30 minutes of the movie, like when she jumps into that pool of blood and is like drenched in blood and shit like that, and like she uses like
She does the Apocalypse Now thing as well.
yeah,
where
she does the
like,
Apocalypse
slowly,
Now
like,
thing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like when she like just lies there while one of those like vampire cannibals like puts like essentially like stands on her head or whatever. Like that was really intense. I loved pretty much any scene with her. Yeah. So, how did you guys feel
It
about?
was kind of hard.
Oh, sorry, Jules. Go ahead. Yeah.
I said, it was kind of hard to tell who was who sometimes. 'Cause
Yeah.
it was like I kind of forgot the names, and I was like, oh wait, who's this again? Is this Sarah or Juno?
I
can't tell in the
agree with
lighting.
the European ladies, like sort of the two that were together for a lot of it with the glow stick.
Yeah.
I found them to be a little more indistinct, but I found like Juno and Sarah and Beth, I found to be quite and Holly as well, the Irish
Holly
lady
too.
who dies straight.
They made
he
Holly
dies
look
straight
like
away,
too
yeah.
much of a lesbian to not make her a lesbian. Like,
Well,
what the
she
fuck?
also, if you remember correctly, had a rainbow sticker on her helmet. So
It's true, but
Yeah.
like in the
Gays.
beginning when they were like
Gay.
oh yeah, Holly is Juno's protege. I was like, okay, so it means they're dating, right? And then they weren't, and I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
They
she was
pussied out.
literally
They-
her,
they-
her protege.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
how are you gonna make a movie about 7 women in a cave and not have one
Exactly, like
gay? Like,
yeah.
come on.
and make Holly look the way that she did. Like, come on.
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah, they need to do they need to do it like
Yeah.
Blue is the Warmest Color, where they have really gratuitous sex but in a pool of blood. Yeah, so
Oh, dude, the leg scene. Fuck that. That was savage. Where they're like pushing it in, and she's like, "Argh!" Where she falls down the hole and breaks her leg. Yeah.
There is so many great practical effects in this film.
Oh,
Which-
the creatures look
Yeah,
unbelievable.
they are amazing.
They looked fucking great.
It almost like it makes that fucking like the two like CG shots in the beginning of the movie look so ass compared to like everything that
No,
like
there's one shot at the end where Juno's getting surrounded and they're like coming
yeah,
from all
the
sides.
the
That
CG
looks
looked
No,
fucking
that
awful.
I
looks
still
That looked
love
dog
it.
shit.
I think
yeah.
it still looks awesome. I don't care. I was like, it was
looks
such
ridiculous.
cool framing. No, I love that
the
shot.
the
I don't
framing
care.
was cool.
It was
but
awesome.
the actual effects they were lit in a way that there was no light source beyond the red thing, and they had white light on them. It looked ridiculous.
Yeah,
I mean,
if they
it
were like
looked-
completely
that shot looked fucking awesome compared to the CG bats in the beginning that looked like fucking
Yes.
Yeah, that also
Oh,
looked
the
fucking
PNGs
awful.
getting
Yeah,
dragged
yeah.
across
Good.
the screen. Like,
I literally just watched Phenomena, the Argento movie, and it reminded me of the sequences with the flies, because it just looked like some guy with like a Sharpie going over the film, just like
Yeah.
putting dots on all of it, you know.
Was anybody kind of annoyed by the film's editing? Because I feel like the editing
No, I loved
kind
it.
of it was weird. It was like I want to see these cool kills and gores and stuff like that, but they kept cutting in between action scenes like every
I
two
don't
fucking seconds. It was kind of annoying. It's like I get what they're going for. Like they're trying to
Well,
go for
it's-
this like
it's frantic and-
claustrophobic,
Yeah.
frantic
Yeah.
like editing.
But,
But, I
like,
don't.
even
I would.
then,
I
like-
want to see the kills. Yeah, like this is the thing that I've always want in horror movies. It's like if you're going to show all this gore and violence, like I want to see all that shit up close. Like I want to see it
There
in
was-
full force. Like
I
don't
think
like.
you do see a lot of it up
You
close
do,
though. Like
you
there's
do,
a lot of
yeah.
like revealing wounds and
It-
stuff in this film. That's
it's
like,
frantic when it's meant to be, but the sequence with Juno
Yeah.
and Sarah at the end, where they're used to it, they know what's going on, and they're ready to just fuck shit up. Like there's a scene where Sarah squeezes the eyeballs of the
Yeah,
Oh,
like,
that was
the-
awesome.
And
That
you're
was
like, shit, and
badass.
you can just hear it like
Yeah.
fucking like squelching and shit. It's
Yeah.
like, "Ugh." You know, it was frantic when it was meant to be. When they didn't know what was going on, it was all new to them, and they were just like, "Oh, what the fuck is going on?" You just see sort of flashes of it, whatever. I thought it was
Yeah.
all in aid of the
And
vibes.
also like when they're in Wonder, like they had like these really cool like wide shots like showing off like the scenery and stuff.
Yeah,
Like,
those
I
were
think
probably
they,
my favorite
They did
shots.
a really great job showing off the stuff.
Yeah.
I kind of didn't get to talk about the sets earlier, but there's
go ahead,
actually
yeah.
only like there was only like one or two big sets for this film, and how they achieved a lot of it was like they just had to like flip upside down and rotate like a lot of the rocks and stuff because they didn't have enough money to make like a whole lot of different sets. So there was like only like one big giant rock face, and then you can go like watch behind the scenes footage of it. And they had to like rotate it and like place the rocks in like different like positions and directions to like achieve like this whole like small little cave system. Like the film is so believable at making them think that they're in a fucking like making us think that they're in a cave. But like when you look at the behind the scenes stuff, it's like how in the hell were they able to achieve it? Because like the film is so believable at making them think that they're in a fucking like making us think that they're in a cave. But like when you look at the behind the scenes stuff, it's like how in the hell were they able to achieve it? Because like it is absolutely amazing what they did.
The practical, like, I think, like, the best thing about the movie is the practical effects and the production design, because, like,
Yeah,
like
honestly,
I mentioned,
like,
it looks
amazing.
like they're in a real cave. Like, it's crazy that
Yeah.
all of this was just, like, sets that they built, because it looks and feels real. Like, when they're stuck in caves, or when they're, like, you know, dangling against, like, fucking rope or stuff, like, I feel nauseous and claustrophobic, and, like, it's crazy that they can pull it off in such, like, an artificial environment. Like, it's really, really impressive. Like, I was kind of shocked, you know, so...
Has anybody ever seen Sanctum, the 2011 movie?
No.
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 I think it may have even been. I think it may have been an Australian movie. It was Australian. You're fucking slacking, Jules. But that was also a thriller about.
90% of our films are usually ass, to be honest.
It's about Kate. It was produced. It was produced by James Cameron, actually, because they used a lot of underwater. They did a lot of underwater stuff, but that was about caving as well.
Oh really?
Yeah,
okay.
it's a thriller about being trapped in a cave after instead of it caving in, there's a storm and it floods the
okay,
the first way
yeah.
that they get through.
It's like 13 Lions.
Yeah.
but
it's like
but
Crawl.
actually not awful. It's not great, but it's like it's solid. You know, it reminded me a lot of that
Okay.
because there's a lot of like sort of really claustrophobic, sort of caving sequences where they're sort of trapped and sort of getting squeezed. And there wasn't a lot. There was a lot of water in this cave, I will admit.
Very
and sometimes
wet.
it looked like it was raining, and it's like, where the fuck
wet
is all this
cave.
water
That is
coming
all
from?
like that's all groundwater though. Like that shit is realistic. Like,
I know. It
Yeah.
happens, but there was
Yeah.
a lot. You know, it wasn't like a
Yeah.
drip. It was like a pour. You know, so
Yeah. So I might be in the minority with this, but there was a glaring issue that I just couldn't get over, and it was essentially Juno's character. So I don't know. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong, and maybe I'm missing something, but I think her, like, sort of weird, like, tangent into being kind of a villain in the movie was really out of left field and just kind of came out of nowhere for me. Like, was she kind of a dick? Like, yeah, like, kind of, like, because, like, she was like, yeah, no, I purposely, like, said, like, we're going to this cave, but we're going to this cave because I want to explore, and then, you know, blah 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 blah, you know, all this stuff. Like, yeah, she's kind of a dick, but, like, when she essentially just kills Beth, like, yeah, I get it, it's in, like, an accident or whatever, but, like, she doesn't say that. She doesn't say, like, oh my god, I accidentally killed. Like, if she just said that, like, I don't know, like, it wouldn't cause all this, like, unnecessary conflict, because, like, this whole, like, tendency where, like, she becomes a sort of a villain, and then Sarah just jumps to this conclusion where it's like, fuck you, like, I'm going to, like, essentially mortally wound you and leave you to get fucked while I, like, save myself. Like, that just kind of came out of left field for me. I was like, this is kind of unbelievable. This is stupid. Like, I don't know. I'm in the minority. Maybe I'm missing something, but, like, I was like, this is
surprise
I can't believe
twist
this. Yeah.
villain didn't make logical narrative sense to you. Is that what you're saying, Timmy?
Yeah, basically.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
This twist villain who wasn't a villain beforehand, but
if you're
became a
referencing
villain
the
at the
Hellraiser
end.
thing, the Hellraiser thing made
This
sense. This
came
didn't
out
make
of-
sense. Yeah.
It seemed actually this makes a lot more sense because one, okay, let me just
Okay.
fucking mansplain
There
to
is
you why this
multiple lines
this
that
makes
indicate
a lot of sense.
Yeah, but I'll let Tom do it.
From day one, from the first scene, from when they're in the boat and Juno is with the husband, there is a look that is implied that Beth noticed it as well, that there was something going on between them.
Oh,
and
like
Juno
an affair or
said-
something?
Yeah.
Yes.
Did you
not
not
catch
catch
that?
that?
No, I didn't catch this at all.
Oh
yeah.
my god!
my boy. Okay,
Timmy,
and also
watch it
the
properly.
the necklace that Beth stole from Juno or grabbed off Juno and then gave to Sarah was the same necklace that Sarah had that said "Love each day" on it, which, as we know, is our boy's slogan.
Oh.
Okay, and she was like, "Oh, we all lost something in that
Yeah,
crash."
there it
Ba, ba,
is,
ba, ba,
yeah.
ba, ba. Also
Oh,
implied
okay.
when Juno killed Beth, it was, and we were shown that it was an accident, and that she left because she was shocked and, scared by what she had done, and she didn't, she was frightened by it, and she also remained in a state of shock.
Okay,
until
well
the end
that
of the movie.
doesn't mean anything to me, because like this is the same movie where people are running around by fucking vampire like cannibals or whatever. Like okay, like I didn't
think
pick up.
they're pretty logical.
I didn't.
It's just-
I didn't pick up the affair thing, so yeah, that makes a little more sense. Okay, like
That's why Sarah
Yeah.
did the killing at the end. It wasn't just because she killed Beth. That didn't, that was added to the fact
Yeah.
that
Okay,
Juno
I didn't pick
had
this
been
up
betraying, betraying
yeah.
her through the whole thing.
Yeah.
Also, there was like a lot of lines that like kind of suggested that Juno was a bit disconnected from the friend group. Like I remember one of the earlier ones in the film is like they're talking about like a trip that they went to Scotland, and they were like, yeah, but Juno didn't show up and stuff like
No,
that.
Juno
yeah.
did show up. She left early, and that was
Oh,
after
yeah,
the
yeah, she
accident.
left early,
So that
yeah.
was when the husband died, and she left early.
Yeah.
And the thing, this is a movie that's fundamentally about guilt. Okay, it's about survivor's guilt for Sarah, about being the last one left. About surviving when everybody else didn't. That's like a fundamental theme. And Juno is experiencing guilt as well. She felt guilty about the affair, and there was a point in the movie where she's like, "I'm not leaving without Sarah." She feels guilty about what happened, and now she's trying to make it up to her, whatever.
Yeah.
These are all themes of guilt, all sort of like tying them together. And Juno wasn't a twist villain. Sarah's actions aren't meant to be. When she stabs her in the leg, you're not meant to go like, oh yeah, it's a personal vendetta that is being resolved.
Okay, I guess I
Yeah.
wasn't paying attention because I didn't realize that until
Fuck's
you
sake,
guys
Timmy!
explained that to me. Yeah.
Yeah, don't chat shit.
Usually I'm so
Like-
attentive about all these things, and wow, I did not pick this up. Yeah, I was.
Yeah, it was like one of the most obvious things like about the movie. Yeah.
The descent was too subtle for Timmy.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that because I don't know. I guess I was just more focused on all the cool shit like the cave and the vampires. Yeah, okay. I didn't. Wow. Okay. Yeah, that changes. Yeah, that changes my perspective a little bit. Yeah, thank you for explaining
Yeah.
that to me. Yeah. So.
And what is everyone's thoughts about her ending up back in the cave? Like,
Well, now that I know that's the
think
real
that's
ending, I
amazing.
fucking love
Yeah.
the ending. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And like I love how like I know Timmy you had a bit of a gripe of them using the Thing music, but I think there's a lot of other soundtracks or that they use
Parts of
in
the
the
score,
film
yeah.
that are lovely, especially that ending one. I love like the really like hopeful shots of her like climbing towards the light like on these like bones.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
that
I
shot
didn't, I
was
didn't like
really-
hate the music. I liked it in certain increments. Like I liked it
Yeah.
in that scene. Yeah. So.
Yeah,
It's
and
very
I think it's
delicate piano work, and it's just
Yeah.
it's very
and it's such like motivating like hopeful music, and like you can like just see like the genuine like fear but also relief that she has after escaping the cave, and she's like frantically driving, like swerving the car and shit, and it makes you believe that like through the music, through her performance, through all of these aspects, that she's like actually finally escaped like this dread. And then they slap you back in the cave, and it's like,
Yeah.
oh damn! Like,
There's no
that
no
film.
happy endings
That I
here.
mean, that ending, like, it is amazing. I think
I think it's
yeah.
it's also because I feel like she probably did get out of the cave afterwards, because she's such a fucking weapon by this point in the movie, and also
Yeah.
it ties together the themes of like survivor's guilt, and just like it
Yeah,
being
you
on
can
like the
imply
1 year
it.
anniversary and everything. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
an implication.
Yeah.
She's still stuck in the cave. It's bleak, whatever. But also like it's kind of by her being rid of like this friendship group that innately ties her to this tragedy and the things that held her back. She's by herself again. She's survived again. But it's like it really brings a sense of like closure to
Yeah.
that aspect of grief,
And I guess if you
seeing
wanna
her
be
she's
a-
in her door or whatever. Yeah,
And I guess
it's,
if you want to be a little more optimistic about the ending, you could interpret it as like well, technically she did escape the cave because we saw that shit, but in her mind, she'll always be stuck in that cave because of not just all the traumatic shit, but like because she was always thinking
Yeah.
about her daughter like when she was in the cave and stuff like that. So like you could also interpret in that way. Like I was, now that I've seen the real ending, like I'm kind of surprised how ambiguous the ending kind of is, because you can interpret it in like any way you kind of
Yeah.
want, and it's just as like feasible, it's just as logical. Yeah.
If you
I'm
if you
so
see it
mad.
as thematic only, then it's actually it's a very hopeful ending.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
if you remove, if you said this was all like
In her head.
allegory or whatever,
Yeah.
not even in her head, but even if
Yeah.
it's just
Yeah.
it's only real as far as what it means, then it's quite a hopeful ending.
I was kind of hoping, that it would be like a Satoshi Kon film or whatever, where it plays with like reality and fantasy. It's like, oh, what is reality? It's like, are there real like vampire
I don't
duels
think
or
this is
whatever?
kind of
I know
that
it's not
kind
that
of
kind of
film,
movie,
Timmy.
but it's like when I saw the real ending, it's like that'd be kind of cool if they kind of thought. And this movie didn't like need anything like that, but I'm just saying like in context of the ending, it's like that'd be kind of cool, But whatever. So.
Yeah.
I think with the
this-
creatures as well, they're great because they
Yeah.
they make sense. It's not like they're like fucking aliens or some shit. It's like a subset of humanity that lived underground and didn't need to
Yeah.
adjust.
Yeah,
for
that
light or
this must
whatever,
be
It's-
like
it's-
where
it's
I
cool.
this must be where I came up with the idea of it's like they might be like de-evolved humans or something, because I don't know, the first time I saw this I was dumb, like
They're
when they were
actual
perfectly evolved, I was like, oh, so they're like Gollum or something, like they
Tom.
like perfectly became
A bit, yeah. They just eat meat and crawl
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Crawl
they're
and-
I
they're
don't know
just
if it
like a-
was.
And they just never went up.
I don't know if it was this for this film or a different film, but there's like concept sketches for like what the creatures were originally supposed to look like. Again, I don't know if it was for this film, but I think it was, and they look like fucking shit.
Oh, really?
And I'm so glad they went with like this design for them.
like half vampire, half Gollum.
Yeah, like vampire-esque, like
Yeah.
yeah, they're very cool, and yeah, obviously like those costumes like probably took like 7 to 8 hours to put on. Like
Yeah, the actual
crazy
prosthetics looked
stuff.
cool as shit, and like
There's such a
Incredible
funny
makeup
video.
work.
They were
Yeah.
incredible.
yeah.
There's a funny video of like two of like those cave crawlers like in their suits just like dancing like behind the scenes, just, like
Oh,
full
can you
makeup.
link
full
that? I wanna see
everything.
It looks like
you
this
could-
movie was fun to work on as well. To be
Yeah,
honest,
Yeah,
it looks
like-
like everyone had fun.
Yeah.
It wasn't like The Shining where the director just made Shelley Duvall's life a fucking miserable hell. Yeah. So
Well, Neil Marshall kind of didn't really do a lot else. I mean, he made Hellboy 2019.
yeah. Yeah. It's crazy he made this one good like this how did he even make this? Like cuz I've seen some of his other movies. They're fucking awful. Like how did you go from this to Hellboy? Like what?
I'd recommend Dog Soldiers, which was his movie before this. It was
Okay.
about 3 years before. It's also it's like an action horror. Really, lots of guns and blasting.
Yeah, I know
people
some of
away.
his other movies are like very camp and goofy. Like I know Hellboy was definitely that, and like yeah, you mentioned Doomsday. Like Doomsday was also kind of
Deadpool-like.
like campy and goofy. I was surprised how like all that was kind of toned down in this movie. He must have like someone else must have written the script, which is why like a lot of that camp and goofiness must have been toned down because I don't know what the hell
Well-
happened here. Yeah, so
This is kind of a flip reverse of Dog Soldiers, which was 6 men, 6 special forces
Oh, wow.
individuals, and they were also vampires, and it's them versus vampires.
Really?
So it's
So
kind
it's
of
like
it's kind
a
of like a double
spiritual
bill. It kind of
successor.
works.
Yeah.
yeah.
Damn, if
Yeah.
I knew that, I would have also recommended that one.
Okay.
It's good. It's good. Dog Soldiers is. It's not. I don't think it's as good as Descent, and it's been a while since I've watched it. But it's also. It's very much a sort of. It's kind of like an action-centric flip side of this movie. It's worth it. It's worth a watch if you enjoyed The Descent.
I love this film's style. I think it has such a distinct like sense of style. Like it kind of reminded me of like Gore Verbinski-esque like
kind
stuff,
of, yeah,
but,
yeah.
yeah, like I just I loved it so much.
It's fucking scary as well. It's really
Yeah,
tense.
it's like
It is actually
it's
really
spooky.
scary.
It is genuinely spooky.
It's genuinely
yeah.
scary. Like some of the scares, like I remember distinctly, and they still kind of terrified me. Like
Yeah.
when I think of like the scary parts of this movie, there are two in particular that I think, no, actually three, because like one of the scares just had nothing to do with the vampires. It was like the stuck in the cave thing. Like I still find that incredibly claustrophobic. I still find that very
Yeah.
scary. And then
That's far more scary.
I think the
than
actual like first
actual
reveal
clickers.
of the vampires, like that was still kind of shocking, because apparently the actresses didn't actually know what these creatures looked like. Like the first time they saw them was like legitimately their first time seeing them, because like the director didn't show them
that
what
would be
these.
terrifying.
Yeah, they must have been that they must have gotten genuine scares out of them, because like they seemed genuinely terrified. And then like that scene where I think it was Sarah, right? Sarah, like when she's like stuck in that fucking like eating pit or whatever, and she's like just using the
God.
camcorder to like record and like look at these like vampire cannibal ghouls or whatever. Like that was terrifying. Like there's a lot of really, really effective horror scenes that I think to myself, how the fuck did the guy who made Hellboy make this shit? You know,
The
Makes
like,
style
Yes.
of this film kind of feels like the I don't know how to describe it, like alive, like flowing, like kind of, I don't want to say campiness, but like it kind of feels like an Evil Dead movie, except not funny. Like
Yeah.
if that makes any sense at all.
no, that's the perfect
like,
way to sum it up. Yeah.
and I loved it. Yeah, no, Does anyone have anything else more to say? I think we've kind of touched on a lot of it.
We've kind
Should
of
I-
covered everything.
Should I see The Descent Part 2?
No.
I'm yet to
no.
see that, and
No.
I don't want to.
I'm kind of curious, like how the
So am I.
fuck do you
No,
make
no, no,
how
no,
the
no,
fuck do you make a sequel to this? How do you make a sequel to this?
It ruins this movie. It like
How do you follow up that ending with anything? You know,
Yeah,
it's,
how
it's
do
meant
you
like
make a
the
sequel to
actual
this? Yeah.
purpose of the ending was the ambiguity of that.
Ruins it in
ending,
what way? Like I want to know. Like I don't care if you spoiled the
it
part
like
two, yeah.
it ruins the, like what Tom is saying. It ruins the purpose of this film, or the purpose. It ruins the interpretation as well, because it just brings Sarah back. It takes place a day after Sarah has lost all her memories. She's also escaped the cave.
Oh.
And they take her back to the cave and manipulate her to go back into the cave to try and look for her friends. And it's so fucking stupid. It removes all the interpretation. It like creates this stupid canon, and I like to pretend that it just doesn't exist.
This
because
sounds awful.
Yeah.
because this film
in.
is like great how it is.
Sounds
Like-
dreadful. Oh, let's do it.
Yeah, I mean,
I
I'm
mean,
kind of curious.
no.
Like I kind of want to watch
I'm
it.
not.
yeah.
I'm not watching that shit.
Like even the set design and everything looks worse. Like it's just no one gave a shit about it. Don't watch it, please. It like absolutely, yeah.
I don't
It
know.
is
You
not
kind of
good.
piqued my curiosity. I kind of want to watch it. Yeah.
It's not even like funny bad though. It's just like it's just nothing. It's
Oh.
like yeah.
Big question. Who was your favorite vampire? Mine
this
was
movie, or-
in this movie. Mine was the lady one.
I mean,
Oh,
there's like the lady one, and then like every other one. Tom.
Yeah, I was
Like-
gonna say, like,
like
Yeah.
I
only
like the
two I
one that gets
recognized.
its eyeballs squished in by Sarah. I thought that one was really cool as well. I also
Yeah, but he
like
looked
the
like
one-
every other like, cause there are only two vampires, one without hair and titties, and one with hair and titties. So it's like, you know, take your pick there. So
So obviously, hair and titties is my favorite, but I would go.
is that her name?
One,
Yeah.
The first one, and then the fourth one as my favorites, and then
I like how you're describing them, that they actually have like different appearances. Like
and then the eighth one. The eighth one is my least favorite.
thanks, Tom.
Like at least give them funny nicknames. Like I,
I know
gave
they
all the
look
Cenobites.
all look slightly different, but like still like.
Well,
Yeah.
maybe I should just call him like Alan, and like
My favorite was the random dead dog.
This one is called
Ah,
Hamilton.
No.
I'm calling
I
this
didn't like.
one Hamilton.
I
Yeah.
didn't like Hamilton very much, but I will say Vanessa, obviously the best one.
Vanessa.
Yeah.
And then like yeah, I'd
Mildred.
say
She seemed like a Mildred to me.
Yeah, the first one looked like a Dwight. I'm gonna call that one
Dorothy.
Dwight.
Yeah, we like Dwight. We do like Dwight.
All
And then
right.
Carl, like the last one.
I wonder how long this can go on for.
I've got to go in a bit, so I think we should maybe move on to questions. But first, ratings. Yeah.
9 out of 10. Great
Nice.
movie.
Yeah.
Also, yeah, the only problems I have are
Yeah.
some of the writing and then a couple bits of CG, I think. But it's pretty great. It's just a horror movie, so I say a solid 9 out of 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an 8 for me. I think it's so close to a 9 for me, honestly. But I
Just
think
give
just
it a
some of
9.
those elements that we mentioned kind of. It's still one of my favorite horror movies though ever made. Like
Yeah.
honestly, like I love the setting. I love the atmosphere. I love the characters, and yeah, I love a lot about this movie.
Yeah.
I love the style. Yeah, so 8 out of 10 for me. Does have its problems, but it's a fucking wicked ride. So yeah.
Yeah. So on the same page as you, Luca. It's an 8, but it could very easily become a 9 when
Yeah.
I build up the courage to rewatch it.
Yeah, I mean, I want to rewatch it again. Yeah, and I'm giving this one a 7 out of 10. It's a very high 7.
Okay,
Like-
so do you like this or Hellraiser more?
I think they're on the same like level for me because they both have like their strengths like definitely outshine everything else. Like they have their greatest strengths that like make them stand out, but they also have like some bullshit that like is also kind of like getting in the way at the same time. So like
Do
like
you
Hellraiser had that too, and this one had that. So like they're on like the same level. They're like both like very high 7s. Like could be an 8 in a rewatch, but like for now very high 7.
Do you
So,
think
yeah.
if you rewatched it with the correct ending and being aware of the fact that there's an entire subplot that you just weren't aware of,
I forgot. Yeah.
do you think if you rewatched it knowing that it would change your opinion?
Well, you know, like I said, like it could be an 8 in a rewatch, and now that
Make sure you watch the right one.
yeah, now that I've
Yeah.
seen, like, now that I know, like, all this crap, and now
Good
that I know there's a
Halloween
real
movie.
ending, then, like, yeah, it could be an 8, but yeah, very high 7 for now. And I liked it. I liked it a lot, you know? Like, I didn't hate it or anything, so, yeah, so.
Okay. Question time. I do have some Halloween-y questions too, but we're gonna have to kind of fly through them.
Yeah, let's speed run through them, yeah.
But that's fine. Okay, so one just simple one from me. What are some of your favorite horror movies from this year, so far?
This
But I
year?
doubt anything
Pinocchio.
notable horror movies rarely come out after October anyways. So like,
I think we all really loved Nope, right? Like, Nope was great.
Yeah.
yeah,
I'd
Nope.
say I liked Nope.
probably not.
I didn't love it though.
I love Nope.
I love
I
Nope,
loved it.
yeah. I loved this new Hellraiser. I thought it was great.
Yeah,
I liked
Yeah,
this
that wasn't
as
good.
well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Does Men count as a horror movie?
Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, I really enjoyed Men.
I actually got to look at my letterbox and like see
I-
which other Hellraiser, which other horror movies I liked.
I couldn't do Men.
I like Men.
Yeah, I didn't like Men, but yeah, I mean, I liked Men more than the Black Phone. I think I didn't like the Black Phone at all. so-
Oh, bodies. I fucking
Oh, yeah,
loved
that's
Bodies,
that's
Yeah,
a
yeah,
solid
yeah.
one.
Actually, yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Just really fun. It's barely a horror movie to be honest. It's so dumb, but yeah, it's just
Yeah.
just a blast. And I know X was this
Morbius.
year. I loved X. I haven't seen
I
Pearl
still
yet.
haven't seen X.
I loved it. It's like
Oh,
a
yeah.
9 for me as well. Like
Okay.
I just had so much fun.
Yeah,
I was also
you'd
really
probably
baked.
You'd
was
probably
really
like
baked when I
Pearl.
watched it.
Tom, you'd probably like Pearl because
Yeah.
I thought Pearl was fucking boring as shit. I did not care about anything.
We get that in a few months, unfortunately.
Okay.
We're always a bit behind with the A24 stuff, but yeah, I thought X was just an absolute riot. And I tend to enjoy movies more because if I get chunged and go to the cinema, like usually I'm quite, if I'm baked, I get distracted when I try and watch a movie.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, I'll be all out on my phone or whatever. When you're in the cinema, you can't just like whip it out and play Flappy Bird, you know. So you just have
Yeah.
to sit there. So I think X was it was one of my favorite movie going experiences
Yeah.
this year, and also
Okay.
not that it's new, but they did a re-release of both The Lost Boys and Dracula, the Francis Ford Coppola one recently.
Oh,
I
yeah.
was baked
I mean,
in
not
the cinema for
2022
both of
movies,
those.
but hell yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I watched them for the first time in 2022. And
Yeah,
they
I
were
haven't
some of
seen
Okay.
either.
my favourites.
Luca and I watched Thirst yesterday, and I've been kind of on a vampire binge. Like, I might see the Werner Herzog Nosferatu movie at some point. I mean, I want to
Sounds
see
great.
it. Yeah.
That
They're
Sounds great.
both awesome vampire movies. I think the Lost Boys they're both very camp.
Hotel
Lost Boys is
Transylvania,
funny.
best vampire movie.
Hotel Transylvania.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
All right. I actually just last one. I saw a movie the other day called Deadstream, which was lots of
Shudder,
fun.
isn't it?
Yeah, Shudder. Yeah, no, like especially us like being a part of like the YouTube sphere. It was such a good commentary on like streamers and stuff like that. Lots of fun, lots of like cool camera tricks and stuff, and yeah, that's one of the underrated ones from this year, I'd say. That one
Okay.
was cool.
Yeah. Oh, and I also want to mention Barbarian. I don't know if either of you have seen it. Yeah, I mean,
I'm getting that.
It came out
at the end of
today
this
in
month.
cinemas. for me.
It wasn't
Yeah,
like-
it is.
I have it. I should go watch it.
yeah,
It's
it
in
wasn't.
South Africa right
it
now.
wasn't perfect, I will say. Like I think, but it's very much this year's Malignant, and I won't go any further into
Don't-
that.
yeah, don't
but,
spoil
but
anything
it,
about
but it
it.
was good. I enjoyed Barbarian. It was pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah. Anyway.
Then I have another question that's kind of from me, but it's not really, because I saw this question like a year ago on Reddit,
Oh,
and it's
Jesus.
something that's always stuck in my mind. Like it was on the r/horror Reddit, and since I couldn't find the question again, I tried looking for it. But since we watched The Descent, I wanted to ask just what are like some of the best horror movies that have like really unique settings, like in like specific biomes, or just like really utilize their settings really well. The Descent is obviously one of them.
Yeah, The Thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, like speaking of like
Yeah,
music
The
of The Thing.
Thing.
The Thing
That's
is
a good
great.
one.
Yeah, it uses its setting very, very effectively. Yeah, The Shining
Yeah, it's
also
like-
uses its setting very effectively. Yeah.
I'm gonna go
Yeah.
through a couple. Well, I thought a more sort of a less well-known one, which was Jeremy Saulnier's Green Room.
Oh
yeah.
yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, takes place in a Nazi punk bar. It's basically what
Oh,
I'm saying.
wow.
Yeah, it was really weird. Yeah, I was in a
it-
punk
it
phase, and I was
basically-
like, "Wow, yeah."
That movie shreds, man. It's the gore in that film is some of the gnarliest I think I've ever seen. Just because it's so like, it's
Oh, yeah?
it's fundamentally set in the real world. It's more of a thriller than it's a horror movie, but not in any
Yeah.
sort of like, sort of like monster sense. It's just fucking gnarly. It's just truly gnarly, and that's just
Yeah.
one place as well. So yeah,
Yeah, I
that's
think the
probably
kills
I
were
think
like sort of-
Midsummer.
Yeah,
Midsummer's
yeah,
a great
yeah.
one. It's like in daytime and also like out in an open field, like in the countryside. Like
That seems like the opposite of what a horror movie would be, but it pulls
yeah,
it off pretty well.
and it
Yeah.
makes it work.
Yeah. So,
Yeah. Anything
What about
else?
Midsummer?
we just said
That's
Midsummer.
just what I. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Keep up, Jules. Yeah.
You're right, Jules. Are you awake?
I'm a bit behind.
Yeah.
Yes, it's it's midnight.
Yeah, okay. Alien, I would say. Alien has a pretty
Oh
unique
yeah.
setting. Yeah.
Alien.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely, yeah. I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
it's because again, it's just like it's a film that takes place.
I think
in
its
such
setting
a-
is probably what makes it such an
specific-
effective horror film.
Yeah, it's like in space. Like
No one can
And
hear
the
you
set
scream.
design.
Yeah.
Yeah, how many horror movies can say they took place in space? Like
Yeah, this and Hellraiser, not Hellraiser, 4.
Jason X.
Jason X.
Jason
yeah.
X.
wow.
Yeah.
It's not the whole film, but there are some in It Follows. There are some. I think it uses that
Yeah,
when
yeah,
it
yeah.
takes. It uses it's quite evocative, and it's in the way that it uses. It's like the pool scene is very cool, and just like the scene where you first see the thing is where he's like she's just been on
Yeah.
a date and she's like tied to a chair.
The
That
Lighthouse.
sequence is really awesome. Yeah.
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
The
the
Lighthouse,
lighthouse,
yeah.
the
Ooh,
witch too.
The
Just Robert
Lighthouse.
Eggers, just in general.
Witch?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I still need to see The Witch. I started it and then I fell asleep.
Really,
You haven't seen it?
I
Man.
need to get into that one.
you heathen.
All right, I think we listed a few.
Yeah.
Great
Oh,
ones there.
Crimson Peak as well. The
Oh, I'm watching that soon. So
Guillermo
don't.
del Toro movie
Yeah.
is
Guillermo,
I guess Pan's Labyrinth as well. Like, holy shit.
I guess
like,
so. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Crimson Peak starts elsewhere, but the bulk of the movie is in a kind of mansion-y type operation. I think it's
Would
very
you guys
effective.
consider Army of Darkness also one? Because that's just
Oh,
like,
hell yeah.
yeah,
Fuck
horror
yeah.
movie in like
Yeah.
old Eden times. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's great. That's a good one.
I love the little tiny ashes in that movie. They're so dumb.
This is a boomstick. Yeah.
It's just ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah, I love Evil Dead. Yeah,
Okay, so this one's from Pon.
of course.
Oh,
Thoughts
God.
on unofficial sequels, aka 2 weeks in another town types. So if you don't know what that is, I actually had to ask Pon. Pretty much, he was asking about thoughts of like films that are like unofficially sequels, but still continue on like previous films or previous properties, and what's it? Why can't I speak? 2 weeks in another town is apparently a continuation of a film called The Bad and the Beautiful.
Okay.
Like an unofficial continuation. And I guess like if unofficial sequels, like if you can do it well and you have like a good connection to the source material and can achieve it, like I guess they can work really well. But I went onto the wiki of films categorized under unofficial sequels, and a lot of it is just like the most
Garbage.
bullshit things
Yeah,
ever.
I was gonna say, like, I feel like
Alien 2 on Earth, Cruel Jaws, Ghost Shark 2, but I think Tom might really appreciate one. This one. There's a Showgirls 2, Pennies
Penny
from Heaven.
Penny from Heaven. I knew that. I knew that.
So, what do you guys think of unofficial sequels?
The only one I can think of really is a Bond movie called Never Say Never Again. It was not produced by Eon, who basically owned the rights to all of it, but it did feature Sean Connery as James Bond. It was came back.
how
to
do they make the
Oh my
movie
God.
if they
Came back
didn't
to
own the
role.
rights?
They just kind of did it. I think it was kind of like a loophole. I think it was to do with the rights of a specific novel. It was Fundable. It was basically a remake of Fundable again. But yeah, just
Oh,
in the
okay.
80s. And it's pretty bad, to be honest. And nobody sort of registers it as a real one, and it doesn't come in lists or whatever. But I think it's interesting as an artifact in a Bond man, as somebody who's seen all of them, and is kind of
Alright.
a
Yeah, I'm very
self-proclaimed fan. I
unfamiliar
find it
with
quite
James Bond, so I don't really
Yeah.
know any of this. Yeah.
I find it interesting more in concept than it is actually as a movie. Though it was directed by Irvin Kershner, who directed Empire Strikes Back
Oh wow.
and RoboCop 2.
Oh.
So definitely an interesting thing.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Yeah.
Because that like
kinda
feels
bad.
like a real like proper production like film, but like
It kind of is. It had a
because like a
budget
lot
to
of
it and stuff,
unofficial
but-
sequels just seem like the most like
They suck. Yeah.
bullshit. They're like
Yeah.
fan films
Slapped
essentially.
together.
Like
I
Yeah.
don't know. Does Split count as an unofficial sequel?
Well, it's the same
No.
director, isn't it?
That's
What about
a
think
American
it's like-
Psycho 2? Was anybody involved in that one?
Oh, I was gonna say that. The
Anybody?
one with Milo Kunis.
Well, I was thinking
Yeah.
like unofficial.
actually
yeah.
seen it.
Okay, yeah. Then I don't
no,
fucking know.
I think the question means
Oh,
like
the-
unofficial and like literally like
They didn't
not
get
connect-
permission.
like
Okay,
connected
yeah.
to the original
Oh,
property, but
Titanic 2.
not made by
Ever
like
heard of that?
No, I heard. Yeah,
I guess
Titanic
like
too, yeah.
again what I said, like I guess like if you have enough of a connection to something and believe that you can like make it on your own, like unofficially, like a fan film or something, I think fucking go for it.
Yeah, like American Psycho. Apparently, American Psycho 2 was its own movie, but then they were like, "Fuck it, let's call it American Psycho 2, All American Girl," because fuck it, why not?
Oh yeah,
I think
yeah,
I
'cause-
think a
'cause-
bunch of sort of classic Italian horror movies ended up with sequels as well, and it also is
Yeah.
like when a movie is made with a low budget or whatever, it does really well, and then like a company will pull it away from.
Doesn't Rosemary's Baby have like an unofficial sequel or something?
I think I think that was an official sequel because like a lot of these are official sequels that are just made to DVD and stuff, but
Oh.
like unofficial sequels are like completely different studio, like some bootleg studio, just like
Oh,
making
I know one then.
making
There's a
like renditions of like normal products and stuff. But I think in this case with like the thing that Pon mentioned, I think it was like a director that just really liked the story of an original film and decided to continue it, but like didn't didn't like get the rights to it or anything, just decided to fucking do it, like yeah.
Okay.
Jules, what are you saying?
Are you guys familiar with the Home Alone dog version?
What?
Bone Alone.
What?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess thoughts are it could turn out good if you have enough passion, but most of the time people just exploit it to like
I mean,
get
I'm looking on
money
Wikipedia. Like, yeah, most
stuff.
of them are fucking suck. It's like I don't know what I'm supposed to say to this. Like, I don't have
Yeah.
an answer to this. Yeah. So.
Yeah. But I doubt like Wikipedia has like a proper way of like tracking all of them, but yeah.
There was, I remember some of the. It was the only thing I can think of. There was an Alien 2, and not Aliens. Like it was like an Italian
Wow.
director made something
Well-
called Alien 2.
Is it called Alien 2 on Earth? Because that's what's listed here on
certainly
I mean,
is.
at a certain rate, what's the difference between an unofficial sequel and then just like a shitty asylum movie? Like, what is the difference between the two at that
Yeah.
point?
I think-
Well, they kind of.
I don't
they come
think there
together.
is really much of a difference. I just think the Asylum movies are like ripping off and not making like a direct sequel to certain things. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Like if Asylum made like Jaws 16 Sharknado versus Jaws, like that would be an unofficial sequel because they're using the Jaws like IP, but even though they
Was-
don't have the rights to it.
Was
and
the
stuff.
Dog Home Alone movie called Bone Alone by any chance?
Yes.
Yes, it was. Also called Alone for Christmas.
I fucking thought so. What a wicked.
but I don't know. Like Asylum made Titanic too. Is that an unofficial sequel?
Yeah,
to
that's
Titanic?
probably an unofficial sequel then. Like,
What happens in a Titanic? Like the boat sinks. Like what the fuck is there left to do?
yeah, I don't know. Let's just move on.
Okay.
Last one, kind of a fun one. Favorite Pixar movies. And bonus question for
Ooh.
Timmy, and I guess anyone else that wants to answer it.
I know this.
Favorite Pixar mom.
This is incredible. That's it.
So,
Okay.
okay.
I can start with my Pixar ranking, which is Toy Story 3.
Nice.
Is that your favorite
The
one?
Yeah, that's my favorite one. Ratatouille,
Yeah, Ratatouille is gonna be
Yeah.
all of ours. Like,
Finding
Yeah.
Nemo, and The Incredibles.
Nice.
nice.
And favorite Pixar mom?
What's the mum from Monsters Inc?
What? There's a mom from what?
You mean what? You mean the big slug?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, yeah. Okay, that's what you were talking about. I was like, what are you talking about? Yeah.
Favorite Pixar movies, Tom?
Oh, I love Wall-E. I think that's awesome.
Now on the Criterion Collection.
Yeah, actually.
Oh yeah, wow.
You know what? It's not my favorite, but I do consider it to be legitimately underrated, and that is Cars.
Oh, fuck you.
2006,
No.
John Lasseter.
No.
Actually, honestly, like it quite a lot. I think it's very sweet. And, yeah, I think it's up there with the greats. You know.
All right.
But my actual favourites would be Toy Story 2. It's still the only one that routinely makes me cry. Where it does that. It's got that Sarah McLachlan song, I think, where Jessie gets left on the side of the road.
Remember me. Oh, wait, no, sorry.
Yeah.
wrong song.
Almost, yeah. That fucks my shit up every time. I love that movie. I think it's
All right.
I think it's gorgeous. So I'm gonna say top 3: Wall-E, Toy Story 2, and Cars. Fuck you. I'm saying
All
Cars.
right.
I'm sticking to Cars. It's a fucking banger.
Sorry, Jules' message is hilarious. I'll get you that. Don't worry, Jules.
Timmy, did you say your favorite?
No, I did. I mean, pretty much everyone. I don't have like a distinct ranking because it's been a while since I've just been like on a Pixar
Just say your
marathon.
favorite then.
Yeah, so I have a couple.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone has mentioned Ratatouille and The Incredibles. I think Brad Bird is an incredible like animation director. So just pretty much anything that he touches is just like fucking gold. So like, yeah, Incredibles, Ratatouille. I have a very
I saw the other day that like your rating for Soul was like a 9 out of 10.
Yeah, I
like...
love Soul. I thought Soul is probably one of the best modern Pixar films. Like, I think there, you know,
so would that be up there for you? Or
I think it might be my new favorite Pixar film in a while. Like, I know I'm probably alone for rating it that high, but I love it. Yeah, I think there's like the music in that movie is fucking awesome. Like the way that they like communicate kind of these very mature, almost like adult themes in a kids movie, like surprisingly well. Like it doesn't talk down to its audience. Like it doesn't treat us like we're fucking stupid. And this is in the same movie where like, you know, like Jamie Foxx is stuck in a cat's body. You know, like it's surprisingly mature for what it is. And like I think that scene where Jamie Foxx's character is like sitting by himself playing the piano, like, and like having this, like, it's the song's called Epiphany, and like he has this sort of like epiphany about his own dreams and realization. Like that scene's fucking awesome. Like I love Soul. I think it's one of the best Pixar films. Yeah. So
alrighty.
Favorite Pixar mom would be Mrs. Potato Head.
Obviously, yeah.
Fuck shit, Mrs. Potato Head. Don't you worry about it.
I mean,
all them holes. What are you gonna do? Eh?
And I wanted to mention one more because, like, I mean, all the Pixar movies you mentioned except Cars was like great, but like I want to mention Up real quick. Like I have a very nostalgic attachment to Up. I think I saw Up on my birthday. None of that I remember, so very nostalgic movie for me. But I think like it's a very effective movie in terms of sort of the emotional heights it wants to hit. Like everyone like points to like the opening 10 minutes of the movie and like, yeah, like that's great. The opening 10 minutes is awesome. But I think the scene near like almost near the end of the movie where like he opens the like My Adventure book and like he goes through all the memories of him and his wife. Like I think that's just as like powerful and awesome as like the first 10 minutes. But I don't know. No one talks about that scene. So yeah. So
I can't say I love Up, to be honest. I think it's like
I mean,
really, I love Up. I think it's a very
I genuinely prefer Cars. Isn't that crazy?
Fuck you. Fuck off. Yeah.
I actually do though. I actually do.
My favorite Pixar movies are probably Ratatouille and Nemo.
Nice.
I like Nemo. Alrighty, but yeah, that's the question.
Who's your favorite Pixar mom? Yeah.
No, I'm not answering that question. It was for Timmy and then you guys. Okay?
Do it.
No.
Answer the question.
I already gave my answer to Mama Coco.
I don't know. I don't know the answer.
No, you do know the answer. You're just refusing to say it.
Okay, let me go look at the fucking Pixar movies. Let me go look at the Pixar movies. Okay.
Just look up Pixar.
My favorite Pixar daddy will be Ken from Toy Story 3.
Oh hell yeah! Don't forget about Andy's mom from Toy Story movies.
Classic.
Hell yeah!
Classic.
Old taste. I like the MILFs. Yeah.
You like them aged. You like them aged like a fine wine.
I don't have a goddamn favorite Pixar mom. Okay, like
that is a lie. That is a lie.
Is Nemo's dead.
Nemo's dead mom.
It's Nemo's dead mom.
Wow, Luca, you seriously rated Soul a 6 out of 10? What the fuck is wrong with you, Jesus?
From the Cars series, who do you think is the most fuckable car?
I'm not going it. I have to go.
Look, I have talked a lot of weird shit about myself on this podcast. I've talked about my favorite animated characters I'd like to have sex with, but this is not a question I'm going to answer. This is a line I'm not going to cross.
No, guys, I know my favorite Pixar mom. The one from Luca, the fish mom.
Oh.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Finally, a goddamn answer.
Doc Hudson from Cars, I reckon. Who has like a really big exhaust engine.
Oh my god, yeah.
I think it'll be. I think it's Ramon, the lowrider that plays La Cucaracha when it honks the horn.
How do the cars
Yeah,
have
yeah.
sex with each other? Like, they have to procreate, right? Like, how the fuck do these cars
Listen,
fuck?
it was done into 10.
How do these cars have
Doesn't
sex with each
9/11
other?
canonically happen in the Cars universe?
I clicked on Cars 2 and I saw Tom's rating was like a 1 out of 10 and I was like, why does this Tom say Cars is his favorite Pixar movie if he's rated it a 1, but I was on the wrong Cars movie.
What's my actual rating for Cars?
Let's go see. 6 out of 10.
Oh my
No.
god.
Check it again. Check it again. What's my actual rating for Cars?
It says you rated Cars 6 out of 10 1 year ago. That's all I can see.
It's an
The
8
fact
out of
that you
10,
saw it
baby. Check
1
that
year ago.
rating
Oh my
properly.
God.
It is a goddamn 8 out of 10.
Hell yeah.
What are your
Nice.
thoughts about Cars 3, the end of the trilogy or whatever?
I genuinely haven't seen it. I genuinely have not seen it.
What? But you're the biggest fan of
I know.
Cars.
I like the first one, but the second one's trash.
Yeah, okay, so I guess it's my turn, right? So
Yes.
I think so.
yeah, so it's back to me, so I get a freebie, and I guess we also get a free week next week. I don't know. Yeah, so so
I've
I
got a
thought
movie
about
coming up.
recommending a water themed movie because you guys recommended water themed movies. And I was gonna do M. Night Shyamalan's Lady in the Water, but then I realized I would have to rewatch M. Night Shyamalan's Lady in the Water, so I just took a hard pass on that. So I'm recommending something else. So here's the
Is
thing.
it water?
No, it's not water related, but
Okay,
it does.
okay.
It does have scenes near a beach, so
Oh.
But
Okay,
that's not
do
like
tell.
important.
Danny
That's not
Boyle's The Beach.
no, but it's not. It's like not important to the plot. So, but it does take place near beaches.
Baywatch.
So, no, just let me. Okay, so here's the thing. I feel like we've been recommending too many bad movies. I think we've been talking about too many terrible shit.
Oh no.
And
What are
it's
you talking
fine. I think we should finally talk about something good. And this is
Oh,
a
no.
movie that some people think is a masterpiece. And I want to watch it just to
Oh my God.
just to prove these
What is-
fuckers wrong. and
Oh no.
and it features
What is it?
and it
Please
features
just say it.
and it features let's just say he's in a superhero movie now. So the movie I'm recommending is the
If you-
masterpiece
I swear to God, if you say Geely.
known as Southland Tales. I'm recommending Southland
Oh my
Tales.
god.
Fuck you!
As somebody who has seen Southland Tales, I wish you the best. And
yeah.
yeah,
I have heard nothing but great
Oh my
things
fuck.
about this movie, and I'm very curious. Like, unironically, I'm very curious because, like, if you go on Letterboxd, it is split even. Like, the same number of people give it a 5 or a 1, and I want to see this masterpiece. I genuinely am curious. Like, how bad could this possibly be? It's only 2.5 hours
It's-
long.
it's that
so, like,
bad.
it's not like I have
it,
fucking
my
time
it
to
is, it is
spare. Yeah,
that bad. I fucking hate this movie so much.
you hated
I
Southland
hate it. You
Tales.
have to read a fucking comic book to understand what the fuck is going on. It's insane.
I was gonna say, should we read
Yeah,
the comic
I
book
think you
before
kinda-
we watch
you kinda
Southland?
have to.
Oh my
It's
God.
like a 12-part
Fuck that.
story.
Okay.
The first 4 parts are like comics. So
I'm gonna have
Good
time
All
for
the
this.
more
It's
reason
Good luck,
to
really
watch.
good luck, good luck, gang.
yeah,
enjoy.
yeah.
Alrighty,
so
well,
I'm
if you don't
curious.
want
So
to
yeah,
be spoiled
if
for fucking Southland Tales.
2006, directed by the guy who made Donnie Darko.
Richard Kelly, baby.
Yeah. Richard Kelly. Yeah. Watch it, yeah, because we're gonna have a fun time with Southland Tales. I'm so either this is gonna be the funniest thing ever, or I'm gonna like eat my own words, and I'm gonna be so fucking
It's
mad
really
the entire.
boring. It's really boring.
Yeah. Either way,
I'm sorry.
I'm glad we're finally
Anyway.
talking about a
Fuck you,
good
Timmy.
movie. Yeah.
Fuck you.
Yeah. So join us next time to talk about Southland Tales. Yeah.
I got an actually good movie planned out for my recommendation.
And I'm recommending this shit. Yeah. So-
Okay, I'm gonna cut everyone off. Sorry,
Okay.
I literally have to go. Like
All right.
right
Let's
now.
do this. All right. Bye bye.
bye-bye.
Yeah.
Thank you everyone for joining. Yeah, thank you,
Au
Tom.
revoir.
Yeah,
Thanks.
happy Southland Tales.
Thanks for
Goodbye,
inviting me.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye.